Chapter 1, Chapter 1. The Beginning of New Life. My name is Satria. I'm 20 years old and live in Surabaya with my family. Nothing extraordinary about my life, just an ordinary guy trying to get forced through university. I'm currently in my second year, juggling classes, hobbies, and hanging out with friends. Futsal, anime, novels, gaming, fishing, and cooking, those are what keep me sane. Today, after finishing a particularly draining class, my friends Zaki and Farrell suggested we hit up a cafe to recharge and wrap up our project. "Hey, Satria," Zaki called out, his eyes glued to his laptop. "Want to play Mobile Legends or Valorant after we're done?" "Can't," I replied, shaking my head. "My mom needs me to pick something up for her." Farrell, grinning as usual, joined the conversation. "Hey, have you seen that new anime, Bocce the Rock? Is it good?" I nodded, blowing out a puff of smoke. "Yeah, it's pretty fun. A bit different from the usual stuff I've been watching." I offered him a cigarette, but he declined. "No thanks, man. I don't smoke," Farrell replied. Zaki smirked. "Dude, focus. Did you double-check the assignment file? I don't want us redoing it if there's a mistake." Zaki dramatically waved his hand. "Relax, boss. Everything's perfect. Trust me, this is an A-end material." With the project finally done, Farrell leaned back in his chair, a smug look plastered on his face. "Well, boys, I'm out. Got to pick up my girlfriend tonight. You know, couple stuff." Zaki groaned. "Ugh, don't rub it in, man. Unlike you, some of us are single. Maybe if you didn't spend all your time gaming, you'd find someone," Farrell teased. "Hey, Satria, why don't you date someone? Plenty of girls are into you." I shrugged. "Haven't met anyone that feels right. Maybe after I graduate." Zaki, ever the troublemaker, chimed in with a smirk. "Or maybe you're just into guys." A tic formed on my forehead. "Not even close, idiot. I just have standards." Farrell laughed, clapping my shoulder. "Relax, man. We're just messing with you. See you later." After bidding my friends goodbye, I hopped on my motorcycle and headed to the market to pick up groceries for my mom. The bustling streets of Surabaya were as chaotic as ever, the evening traffic a familiar headache. Finally arriving, I went straight to the butcher's stall. "Uncle, the usual, please," I said, pulling out my wallet. The butcher chuckled. "Where's your mom today? It's rare to see you running errands alone." "She sent me here after class," I replied, handing him the money. He smiled, slipping in an extra piece. "Here's a bonus. Study hard, kid." "Thanks, Uncle," I said before heading out. As I walked back to my motorcycle, I noticed a boy and his younger sister sitting on the sidewalk, their eyes hollow with hunger. "Brother, please spare some change," the boy begged. "We haven't eaten since yesterday." My heart clenched. "Where are your parents?" "They left us," he whispered, clutching his sister tightly. Without hesitation, I handed him 50,000 rupiah. "Here. Get yourselves something to eat." The boy's eyes widened. "This is too much, sir." "Are you sure?" Seeing their gratitude reminded me of the lessons my parents instilled in me, to always help those in need. But before I could dwell on it further, a sharp gasp drew my attention. The little girl had wandered into the street, directly into the path of a speeding truck. "Hey!" I shouted, my body moving on instinct. Sprinting as fast as I could, I grabbed her and shoved her out of harm's way. But I wasn't fast enough to save myself. The last thing I felt was the truck slamming into me, a blinding pain consuming my body. "Is this it?" I thought. "Sorry, Mom, Dad. I guess this is where my story ends." But when I opened my eyes, I wasn't on the streets of Surabaya anymore. Instead, I found myself lying in an unfamiliar room bathed in soft sunlight. What the hell? I'm alive. Sitting up, I caught sight of my reflection in the mirror and froze. What the? This isn't my face! I exclaimed, stumbling closer. A pale, youthful face stared back at me, with sharp features that looked straight out of a boy band poster. As memories not my own flooded my mind, a name surfaced, Shidou Matsumi. Mixed Japanese, with absentee parents who left him a sizable monthly allowance. I rifled through the room, trying to make sense of it all. The world seemed normal, yet something felt off. Grabbing a student ID, my stomach dropped. QA Academy? No way, I muttered, the name ringing alarm bells. This is an anime world, and not just any anime, but one filled with dangerous supernatural creatures. Panic surged through me, followed by a grim realization. I'm stuck here, aren't I? My family, my friends, my dreams, all gone. Clenching my fists, I took a deep breath. All right. No point in crying about it. If power is everything in this world, I'll get stronger. Whatever it takes, I'll survive and thrive. Thus began the new chapter of Satria life. To be continued. Chapter 2, Chapter 2. Dimension Chat. Kyoto, Japan. Satria walked into the living room, observing the pristine condition of the house. Not bad. Must be a rich family, he muttered, his voice echoing slightly in the vast empty space. But honestly, what a waste. This whole mansion for one person? What were they thinking, leaving this kid alone here? The loneliness of the house gnawed at him, the vastness amplifying the silence. He sighed and began exploring. Checking every corner, he examined the bedrooms, the guest rooms, the bathrooms, the garden, and even the storage room. Everything was in perfect order, a clear sign of wealth but lacking the warmth of a lived-in home. All good, he said. Now let's see how much cash I've got. Satria pulled out his phone and logged into the bank app. A quick check showed a balance of 124,000 yen. Let's convert this. Wait, what? 14 million rupees. He stared in disbelief. When I was this kid's age, my mom barely gave me 15 to 20,000 a day for pocket money. Shaking his head, he made his way to the kitchen. In the kitchen, Satria opened the fridge to inspect its contents. Let's see what we've got. His voice cut off as the door swung open. Inside were 2 eggs on the verge of rotting, a carbonated drink that turned out to be beer, and some frozen food nearing expiration. What the hell? What are this kid's parents thinking? They send money but can't even make sure there's decent food. He checked the cabinets. Dusty cookware, a few instant ramen cups, and not a single grain of salt or sugar to be found. Wow! This kid doesn't even cook. He's surviving on microwaved garbage. Satria groaned. At least they send money, I guess. Let's see what else this place has to offer. Back in the study, Satria began flipping through photo albums. The family looked picture perfect, a father, a high-ranking businessman, a mother. Who knew? Their photos were like something out of a corporate magazine or a fantasy story. But something felt off. As he flipped through the pages, he noticed a pattern. The family photos stopped when the boy was in elementary school. From then on, nothing. Yup. Something's definitely wrong with this family, Satria murmured, his unease growing. A notification popped up on the boy's smartphone. I have business in Korea. Take care of yourself. I'll send your pocket money soon and don't call me unnecessarily. Wow! So much love in that message. His sarcasm cut through the quiet. He sighed, stretching. All right, time to buy some actual food. Let's check the garage. Inside the garage, Satria found a sleek car, a sporty motorcycle, and a dusty bicycle tucked in the corner. Fancy rides, but no license yet, and it's not Indonesia where elementary school already can ride motorcycle. Wait. That bad boy is me, ha ha ha. I remember when my mom was very angry with me and dad after I learned to ride a motorcycle from him. Guess bicycle it is. He pulled the bicycle out and started pedaling toward the nearest supermarket. As he passed the city park, a loud commotion caught his attention. What's that? He stopped and hid behind a tree to investigate. In the distance, he saw a black-haired woman with dark, menacing wings killing a brown-haired boy. Shit! I'm too late. His breath caught. The boy looked familiar. Is that Issei? He clenched his fists but didn't intervene. It was already too late to help, and his new body now weak as fuck. The woman disappeared, leaving behind a glowing paper. Moments later, two more women, one with vibrant red hair, the other with long black hair, appeared. Satria's eyes narrowed as he watched the red-haired woman place a chess piece on Issei's chest, healing his fatal wound. They're reincarnating him. Figures. A voice suddenly echoed in his mind. Who's there? Satria froze. Relax, boy. We'll talk later. I've seen your memories. You're an interesting one. Great. Something's inside me now, Satria muttered internally, trying to mask his unease. You don't seem too surprised. I've had a weird day. Who are you? Fatalis. The Forgotten Black Dragon. Never heard of you. How'd you get inside me? Fatalis, not sure. I was in my resting place when a strange light appeared. Next thing I knew, I was here. Well, it's better than that boring place. Satria sighed. Nice to meet you, partner. Fatalis, likewise, boy. And that reincarnated one, he's the host of Drake, isn't he? Yet. A fictional character from my old world. I guess not so fictional here. Fatalis, well, his dream of being a harem king is pretty ridiculous, but I suppose it works for him. True, Satria said, standing up. Let's get out of here. After buying groceries, Satria returned home and put the bike back in the garage. He sat on the sofa, deep in thought. 3 days until I enroll at Kua Academy. I need to get stronger. Fast. Suddenly, a screen materialized in front of him. Ding! What the, he yelped, nearly falling off the sofa. You have been chosen as the admin of the Dimensional chat group. Dimensional what now? The screen continued. System initializing in 10 seconds. 10. 9. 8. Watching. Satria stared at the countdown, baffled. 0. System ready. Create your nickname. Alright, call me Shin. Nickname confirmed. A flood of information filled the screen, explaining the chat group's purpose, connecting people from different worlds to help each other, complete quests, and buy skills from a system shop. He schemed through it. Weird, but could be useful. Underscore. Reward, 5,000 points. Ding. Pervert Sage joined the chat. Ding. A man with gender equality joined the chat. Ding. Evil Spirit joined the chat. Ding. Ice Sadist joined the chat. Satria blinked at the names on the screen. This is officially the weirdest day of my life. To be continued. Chapter 3, Chapter 3. New members. With a resigned sigh, Satria clicked the screen. Weird things just keep happening to me, he muttered, his voice tinged with both curiosity and annoyance. The screen displayed a detailed explanation. This group connects people from various worlds. Members can communicate, share knowledge, and assist one another when their worlds face threats. You can also purchase skills and items through the shop using currency earned via quests or daily logins. Satria schemed through the rest before clicking Skip. Thanks for reading. Admin reward, 5,000 copyright has been added to your account. Ready to scout potential members. Suddenly, a series of notifications flashed across the screen. Suddenly, a series of notifications flashed across the screen. Ding! Pervert Sage joined the chat. Ding! A man with gender equality joined the chat. Ding! Evil Spirit joined the chat. Ding! Ice Sadist joined the chat. Underscore. Satria jaw dropped as he stared at the usernames. Okay, this is officially the weirdest day of my life. Pervert Sage, what kind of genjutsu is this? Man with gender equality, I was about to sleep, and now this? Someone better explain what's going on. Evil Spirit, Era, this seems interesting. Ice Sadist, who, a chance to fight unknown threats? Not a bad deal. Shin, everyone, calm down. Let me explain. I'm Shin, the admin of this group. This chat connects people across dimensions. It's meant for sharing knowledge, working together, and dealing with potential threats in your worlds. Evil Spirit, Era, sounds intriguing. Ice Sadist, who, new opponents to face. Count me in. Pervert Sage, why should I trust you? I don't even know you. Satria smirked, leaning back. Alright, let's see if you trust me after this. Shin, Jiraiya, also known as the Pervert Sage of the legendary Sunin, you're currently training a boy named Uzumaki Naruto for the upcoming Chunin exams, right? Pervert Sage, how do you know about Naruto? He's just a kid preparing for the exams. Shin, listen closely. During the exams, your village will face an invasion. Orochimaru and his agents, including Kabuto Yakushi, are plotting something big. Your leader, the third Hokage, is in danger. The chat went silent for a moment. Pervert Sage, are you serious? Shin, deadly serious. Watch out for a Suna Jonin named Baki and Orochimaru's agent. A&D. Try to save Hay-8 Gecko. He doesn't have much time left. Pervert Sage, thank you, Shin. If this information is accurate, I owe you. How can I repay you? Shin pondered. A jutsu would be amazing, but I don't even have chakra coils. Let's stick to the basics for now. Shin, a book on taijutsu techniques and some ninja basics like kunai throwing techniques would be helpful. Pervert Sage, that's simple enough. Give me a moment. Pervert Sage has sent a gift to Shin. Underscore. A book materialized on the screen and slid onto Satria's desk. His excitement was short-lived as he noticed an additional orange-covered book. He opened it, only to freeze in surprise. Isn't this Ika Paradise? Shin, Jiraiya. Why did you send me this? Pervert Sage, what? I'm sharing my world's finest literature. Other worlds should appreciate my art. Evil Spirit, what's Ika? Pervert Sage, a masterpiece of literature created by yours truly. Evil Spirit, can I have it? Shin, hey. Don't give that to a lady. Pervert Sage has sent a gift to Evil Spirit. Evil Spirit, you're trash, Jiraiya. Prepare for divine punishment if we ever meet. Man with gender equality, hold on, can I get a copy too? Pervert Sage has sent a gift to Man with gender equality. Man with gender equality, this is a masterpiece. Jiraiya, do you have more volumes? Pervert Sage, finally, someone who understands true art. Of course, I do. Pervert Sage has sent additional gifts to Man with gender equality. Ice Sadist, do you have anything on SM? Pervert Sage, oh, I've got something for that too. Pervert Sage has sent a gift to Ice Sadist. Shin, what the hell is happening? Underscore. As the chaos unfolded in the chat, Satria sighed deeply, rubbing his temples. What a crazy day. He placed the books aside, deciding to focus on more productive matters. Satria sat at his desk, conversing internally with his new companion. Fatalis, partner, where do you plan to train? Remember, this city is crawling with enemies. Satria, I haven't decided yet. I want to keep a low profile for now. Fatalis, good. We are born to rule, not to become pawns like that Apai dragon. Don't let yourself be their plaything. Satria, relax. I've got no intention of becoming anyone's pawn. You have my word. Fatalis, that's what I like to hear. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a one-piece marathon to finish. Satria chuckled. Enjoy your night, Fatalis. Determined to adapt to this new world and new country, Satria decided to try his hand at cooking. He found a video tutorial on a platform resembling YouTube and followed the steps to make a Japanese dish. His first attempt was average. Tastes okay, I guess. Practice makes perfect. After cleaning up, he made his way to bed, glancing at the books on his desk. Here's to a better tomorrow, he muttered, closing his eyes. To be continued. Chapter 4, Chapter 4. First Training. Unknown Forest. Satria had decided to leave his town to avoid the constant interference of supernatural beings. His goal was simple: train in peace. Satria stood in a clearing deep within the forest. Unbeknownst to him, something circled and hidden in the shadow watching him. His muscles ached from hours of training, but his resolve was steady. Tonight, he would master blending his Silat roots with the taijutsu techniques he'd been practicing. This brat is so weak. It's like I'm starting from scratch. Fatalis, partner. You need to strengthen your body first. It's too fragile to channel my power. Start with more physical training, then move on to mastering the taijutsu techniques your friend gives to you. Satria groaned, wiping sweat off his brow. You sure love to talk, don't you? Fatalis, it's rare to have someone to talk to. In my world, people attacked me without reason, even when I was sleeping. After centuries of enduring their hostility, I lost patience and turned their kingdoms to dust. Having a partner I can actually talk to is refreshing. Satria snorted but softened. Sorry about that, partner. Anyway, do you know how I can use your power more effectively? Fatalis, How about using the method that Boy Issei from High School DxD uses to activate his sacred gear? Tap into your emotions and willpower. Nodding, Satria closed his eyes and concentrated. Let's see. I'll think of something powerful. He strained to focus on an image of strength and destruction, but nothing happened. Damn it, nothing's working. Fatalis, my element is flame. Focus on destruction. True, overwhelming destruction. Satria hesitated. That sounds like something a villain would do, a good kid like me would never do that day. But he tried anyway, imagining annihilating all who stood in his way and ruling as the sole survivor in a ruined world. Suddenly, a black dragon belt materialized on his waist, along with a black dragon deck in his hand. Fatalis, it worked. Nice imagination, partner. As Satria examined the belt, a faint voice whispered in his mind, urging him to stop entertaining such destructive thoughts. What was that? Fatalis, that's the price of my power. I'm called the Calamity Dragon for a reason. My aura is inherently corruptive, and unless you master yourself, it can consume your life. Satria frowned but quickly composed himself and bought something in dimensional store. I just need a clear mind. He crossed his legs and began meditating, focusing on calming his thoughts. And Fatalis, impressive. You're banishing my negative aura with sheer willpower? How? Satria gave a tired but playful grin, closing his eyes for a moment to rest. Well, it's simple, partner, he replied, his voice light despite his exhaustion. I meditated, calmed my mind, and had a paramex. Fatalis, paramex? What kind of medicine is that? You think some pills will solve your problems? Satria chuckled, cracking open one eye to glance at the sky. It's a headache medicine, but trust me to jam in manger. Fatalis, you humans are ridiculous. Still, I guess it worked. I don't know how you handle it, but I'm impressed you're still conscious after what you've been through. Satria laughed weakly. Hey, I'm a pro Dota player. We learn to handle the pain, physical and mental. Fatalis, idiot. After a few minutes, Satria stood up. Let's test something. If I'm bonded to a dragon, why not try something like Kamen Rider Ryuki's? With a roar, a burst of black flames erupted around him, pushing back the encroaching monsters. His body was engulfed in dark energy, and when the flames subsided, he stood transformed. His new armor glistened like black obsidian, sleek and sharp, with dragon-like accents. Red eyes glowed menacingly behind the jagged helmet. Kamen Rider Calamity was born. This is awesome! Satria exclaimed, making cool poses with his new armor. Fatalis, haha! Not bad, kid! Suddenly, spotting shadowy figures lurking between the trees. As they stepped closer, the pale moonlight revealed their grotesque forms twisted, humanoid creatures with greyish skin, sunken eyes and jagged teeth dripping with saliva. What the hell are those? Satria asked, but obviously no one answered him. The mysterious creature struck first, rushing toward him with a low spinning kick aimed at his legs. Satria responded instinctively, shifting into the low, grounded stance of Silat. Four-step, he muttered, stepping fluidly to the side, evading the attack while maintaining perfect balance. From the crouch, he countered with a quick upward elbow strike, a signature Silat move, aimed at the rogue's ribs. The opponent twisted mid-air, evading the strike, but Satria anticipated this with a taijutsu follow-up. In one fluid motion, he stepped forward with a Yokogiri Kikomi, side thrust kick, targeting the ghoul-exposed midsection. The kick connected, forcing the rogue to stumble back. Fatalis, impressive, but don't let up. Combine the flow of Silat with the precision of taijutsu. Satria smirked. Watch and learn, partner. The mysterious attacker lunged again, throwing a series of rapid punches aimed at Satria's chest. This time, Satria used Silat's deflection techniques, tepis and tangkis, parrying the strikes with his forearms. The fluid circular movements of his hands redirected the punches away, creating an opening. Taijutsu time, he whispered, stepping into his enemy guard. He grabbed the outstretched arm, twisted it into a lock, and transitioned into a spinning throw, a move inspired by the Kaiten Age technique. The rogue hit the ground with a thud but rolled to his feet instantly. The ghoul drew two small knives from his belt, smirking. Satria adjusted his stance, lowering his center of gravity in the Kyuda position, Silat's horse stance. Weapons? Fine, let's test this. The ghoul slashed, and Satria reacted with precision. He dodged backward with taijutsu's evasion techniques, combining them with the twisting, snake-like motions of Silat's snake bite. When the rogue overextended on a thrust, Satria stepped inside the range, trapping the knife arm with a kunchin, Silat's locking technique. Using his free hand, he struck with a Shidou knife hand strike, to the rogue's wrist, disarming him. Then, spinning low, he swept the rogue's legs from under him with Silat's Seipubrza technique. Fatalis, hey, I think you should run away from here now. What? Why? I'm not done. When he wanted continue to play, Satria dropped to one knee, his breathing ragged. The spectral image of Fatalis faded, and his black dragon armor dissolved into shimmering particles. HAAA, HAAA. Damn. That was intense, he muttered, trying to catch his breath. Fatalis, you're an idiot, I told you your new body can't handle my power for long. You're out of juice now, aren't you? Satria groaned, wiping the sweat off his brow. Yeah, I know. But hey, I handled the big one, didn't I? Satria looked up and froze. More ghouls emerged from the darkness, their glowing eyes fixated on him. Among them were feral-looking yokai, their twisted forms oozing with malevolence. Claws and teeth glistened as they slowly circled him, sensing their prey was vulnerable. Ah, crap, Satria muttered, forcing himself to stand. He raised his fists, but his arms trembled, the strength drained from his body. One of the ghouls licked its lips, a wicked grin spreading across its face. Weak, now we feast. Another yokai snarled. You fought well, human, but you are nothing without that sacred gears of yours. Satria gulped, his mind racing. Come on, body, move. Just a little more. Suddenly, a white-haired girl approached him, carrying an air of grace and danger. Who's that? Satria asked warily. Fatalis, careful, partner. She's a dragon. The girl chuckled. You seem exhausted. Should I take pity on you? Satria groaned. I'd appreciate it, lady. I'm too tired to fight. She tilted her head, smirking. Interesting. Who are you? Shidou Matsumi. 16 years old. A regular high school student from Kyoto. Her eyes narrowed. Kyoto? That's far from here. Why are you here? Training. I want to grow stronger. Why? To protect the people important to me and to prevent annoying people from controlling my life. The girl's smirk widened. You're quite interesting. I've decided you'll be my Achin-sama. Satria sighed. Wonderful. I'm not your Achin-sama, lady. Call me Shin. She pouted. No. You are my Achin-sama. Introduce yourself first, and stop deciding things on your own. She unfolded a fan and covered her mouth with a mischievous smile. I am Kiyohime. Satria blinked. I know you. You're from the Heian period in Japanese lore, right? The woman who burned a man alive for rejecting her love. Her eyes lit up. You know me. Yet. You're a troublesome Yandere. Kiyohime scowled. I am not troublesome. She glanced at him briefly, her expression softening for a moment. Rest, Achin-sama. You've done enough. Leave the rest to me. The ghouls and yokai hesitated, but one snarled defiantly. She's just one. Overwhelm her. Kiyohime's smirk returned. Just one? You fools clearly don't know who you're dealing with. She opened her fan, waving it gracefully as flames surged forth, consuming several of the creatures in an instant. One ghoul tried to sneak behind her, but without even turning, she snapped her fingers. A fiery serpent burst from the ground, coiling around the ghoul and incinerating it. You disgusting vermin don't even deserve to breathe the same air as my Achin-sama, she declared. Now burn. With a flick of her fan, a massive wave of fire swept across the clearing, reducing the remaining ghouls and yokai to ash. The forest fell silent, the only sound the crackling of dying embers. Satria stared in awe, his mouth slightly agape. Why am I always surrounded by dangerous women, he muttered. Kiyohime walked over to him, her fiery aura fading as she knelt by his side. You okay? Yes and. What if I reject you? Satria asked hesitantly, already regretting the question. Satria glanced nervously at Kiyohime, her fan still elegantly covering her face, but her eyes gleamed with something far more intense. Her calm, teasing smirk was gone, replaced with a frighteningly serious look. Reject me? Oh no, Achin-sama, she hissed, her eyes glowing with ominous light. If you reject me, I'll burn you. Fatalis, partner, you better not provoke her, this one isn't bluffing. Satria raised his hands defensively, trying to smile. Matan. Matan. No need to go nuclear on me, lady. He laughed nervously but quickly recovered, his usual cocky grin returning. He thought for a moment, then shrugged. You know what? Why not accept her? I'm alone in this world anyway. Having someone as unique as her might not be so bad. After all, I love a challenge. Kiyohime tilted her head, her fiery aura fading. Oh? A challenge, you say? What the hell? You can read my mind. Satria was surprised and received a nod from the woman. Yup. I thrive under pressure. In fact, I'm a pro Dota player, top 5 offlaner in the world. Handling intense situations is my thing. If I can outplay a 5-man gank, I can deal with someone like you. Kiyohime blinked, her fiery expression softening into a look of curiosity. Dota? Offlaner? What are those? Satria sighed, scratching the back of his head. A long story. Let's just say, I'm pretty good at handling chaos. Kiyohime's face lit up with delight, her earlier fury replaced with an almost childlike happiness. Achin-sama. I knew you'd see reason. Fatalis, you're really asking for trouble. You just volunteered for a whole lifetime of crazy. Satria smirked internally. Crazy is what makes life interesting, partner. He glanced at Kiyohime, who was now humming happily, her fan waving as she walked ahead. He sighed. Well, I guess this is my life now. Let's see where this wild ride takes me. To be continued. Chapter 5, Chapter 5. My devoted dragon wife, unwillingly yours. Maihoshi Coast, Shizuoka Prefecture, Japan. Wait, Kiyohime. Please. Can you stop calling me by that nickname? Satria grimaced. He felt his skin crawl every time she addressed him as Achin-sama, the name of her long-deceased lover. While he was familiar with the Fate/Grand Order trope, this wasn't a game and he wasn't about to let it slide. How did Kiyohime exist in the DxD world? Don't tell me this is the Union world or something. Kiyohime's expression darkened, and an ominous aura began to radiate around her. Why? 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 Are you rejecting me again? Are you going to betray me? Continue. Satria's eyes widened in panic. Oh, crap. She's losing it. What do I do? He was all too aware of what would happen if he created a wrong move. The women in the DxD world were already intense, but this one took to a whole new level. Listen. He raised his hands in exasperation. First off, I didn't reject you. Second, stop calling me by your ex's name, it's creepy. And third, if you want to stick around, we need to get to know each other first. Got it? Her menacing smile softened ever so slightly, though her eyes still burned with determination. So, you're going to accept me, then? Satria sighed, realizing he had no choice. Yes, yes. I accept you. But for the last time, don't call me Achin-sama. That's not my name. Got it? Okay, Dana-sama. Her voice shifted, dripping with sweetness. From now on, I'll call you Dana-sama. She beamed and threw her arms around him in a tight hug. Oh boy, Satria thought miserably, what am I getting myself into? He had come to this remote location to train in peace, hoping to avoid any supernatural detection. But reality had a way of derailing his plans. Fine. See you later. Damn, my body hurts. He groaned as he tried to stand, his muscles aching from his intense workout earlier. Kiyohime followed him like a shadow. Why are you following me? We love each other, so naturally, we must stay together, Shidou-sama, she declared, clinging to his arm. Great. He muttered. By the way, can you cook? His mind flashed back to her FGO incarnation. Maybe this version had some useful skills too. Of course, she said proudly. I'm prepared to become the best wife for you, Dana-sama. Wow, lucky me. He smirked, though a small part of him appreciated that the house wouldn't be so quiet anymore. Unknown Church, Kyoto, Japan. How did the job go? Did you take care of that pervert? Rainare smirked, crossing her arms. That trash wasn't even worth my time. Why does Azazel-sama even bother with someone like him? The man in the hat sighed. He says there's something about that boy, maybe a sacred gear. Even I don't know his reasons. Did you at least burn or bury the body? Why would I bother? Touching that pervert would dirty my hands, she said, flipping her hair dismissively. You idiot! Did you forget whose territory this is? Rainare froze. Oh! Oh crap! The Demon King's sister, right? Wait, you're saying they'll reincarnate him? Exactly, the man said with an exhausted look. You never think things through. Rainare shrugged. No problem. I'll kill him again if it comes to that. He doesn't even know how to throw a punch. You're too overconfident. One day, that'll get you killed. Shut up. Where's the nun with the twilight healing sacred gear? She's on her way. Just wait. Good, Rainare said with a grin. With that power, I'll be unstoppable. Tokyo Prince Hotel, Tokyo, Japan. After a grueling bus ride and an exhausting search for affordable lodging, Satria and Kiyohime finally checked into a modest hotel room. I'm taking a bath first, Satria announced, grabbing a change of clothes. Kiyohime clasped her hands together with a blush. Dana-sama, can we bathe together? Absolutely not. He shut the bathroom door with a resounding click. What? She banged on the door. Let me in, Dana-sama. It's my job to wash your body. Too bad. I don't care, and I don't want to care. Go away, Kiyohime. 20 minutes later, Satria emerged, feeling refreshed only to find Kiyohime waiting for him almost in nothing but a towel. Dana-sama. Go put on some clothes, he deadpanned. Humph, you're no fun. She pouted but eventually complied. As she dressed, Satria flipped on the TV. Finally, some peace. He settled on a familiar cartoon. Is that kid show? Kiyohime teased, now dressed and snuggling beside him. I didn't think my Dana-sama had such childish tastes. Hey, don't knock it. SpongeBob is a classic, he retorted. She giggled. Well, it's cute. Just like you. Satria rolled his eyes, but a small smile tugged at his lips as they watched the show together. What a troublesome woman, he thought. But deep down, he didn't entirely mind the company. After a quiet moment watching TV, Satria turned his thoughts inward. It was time for Shalat Izya, but he hit a snag. He had no idea where the Qiblat was. He opened his phone and tried searching on Google, but no luck. There was no mention of Islam or even mosques in this world. It was baffling and frustrating. He sighed and remembered the advice his father once gave him: if you're lost and don't know where to face, trust your instincts. Allah knows your intention. Kiyohime, noticing his pensive expression, leaned closer. Dana-sama, what are you doing? Nothing much, he said, avoiding a detailed explanation. Explaining his religion to someone from this bizarre world felt complicated. Just doing some night prayers. Prayers? Her eyes lit up with curiosity. What kind of prayers? Are you devoted to a specific god or spirit? He paused, unsure how to explain. It's not quite like that. It's more of a connection with the Creator. A moment of gratitude and guidance. Kiyohime tilted her head, studying him. You're different, Dana-sama. You're not like the people in this world, are you? Her words sent a chill down his spine. Damn, Did she figure it out already? I could ask you the same thing, he replied, deflecting. What about you? Are you part of some faction or group? Fallen angels, devils, angels, something like that. Kiyohime shook her head with a soft smile. No, I'm not part of any faction. I've always been my own person. Factions and wars don't interest me. My only goal is to stay by your side, Dana-sama. He relaxed slightly but caught her curious gaze again. So, are you? She asked softly. From another world? Satria froze, his mind racing. Should he deny it? Play dumb? Before he could answer, Kiyohime's expression softened. It's okay, she said, her voice gentle. You don't have to tell me. I'll stay with you no matter where you're from. You're my Dana-sama, and that's all that matters to me. Her unwavering devotion made him uneasy. Not because it wasn't heartfelt, but because it was so absolute. Yet, in her eyes, there was no malice, only sincerity. Thanks. I guess. He rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly. Just don't go spreading weird rumors, okay? She giggled and nodded. Of course not. Your secrets are safe with me. As she turned her attention back to the TV, Satria quietly aligned himself, trusting his instincts for Kiblat, and began his prayers. God, please give me strength to deal with this crazy world, and this weird girl. To be continued. Chapter 6, Chapter 6. My wife's tale is trouble, but so is she. Tokyo Prince Hotel. Tokyo, Japan. The soft glow of morning sunlight filtered through the curtains, illuminating the cozy hotel room. Two figures lay entwined on the bed, one blissfully content, the other, less so. Dana-sama, I love you, murmured the woman, snuggling closer, her long, serpentine tail wrapping tighter around her companion. The man grunted in frustration. Kiyohime, let go of me. You're crushing me here. He struggled to free himself from the unyielding grip of her tail, but the more he squirmed, the tighter she held him. Damn it, she's so strong. Realizing his efforts were futile, he sighed in resignation. I give up. I can't breathe. Wake up, Kiyohime, he pleaded, shaking her lightly. Kiyohime remained blissfully unaware, her serene expression unchanging. With a sigh of exasperation, Satria glanced at her tail, which was coiled firmly around his waist. His hand twitched. I've never seen a demi-human in my old world, might as well take this chance while I can. Carefully, he ran his fingers along the smooth, scaly surface of her tail. Ah! Dana-sama, what are you doing? Kiyohime's golden eyes shot open as she jolted upright, her face a deep shade of red. Well, I had to do something, Satria replied, smirking. You weren't letting go, and I've never touched a demi-human's tail before. Consider it payback for suffocating me. Kiyohime pouted. You could have just asked. If you want to touch my tail, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I'm sure, Satria muttered, stretching his arms. By the way, why is your tail so strong? You nearly squeezed me to death. Phew, you're so dramatic, Dana-sama. I was just showing my love, she said with a teasing smile. Then her tone softened. But, you've really never seen someone like me before? No demi-humans at all in your old world? Nope, Satria replied, puffing his chest proudly. Back in my world, there were only humans. No dragons, no snake girls, no fox spirits, just ordinary people. You're like something straight out of a fantasy novel to me. Kiyohime tilted her head curiously. Tell me more, Dana-sama. What was your past life like? Satria grinned, leaning back against the headboard. All right, listen up, Kiyohime. I was kind of a big deal back in my world. Really? Kiyohime's tail swayed excitedly behind her as she leaned closer. Yep, he said, puffing his chest out further. I was a famous pro player in esports. Everyone knew my name. I was the best of the best, strategic, quick, and feared in the games I played. Wow! That sounds amazing! Kiyohime exclaimed, her golden eyes sparkling. Satria smirked. It was, but my life wasn't all fun and games. I had a scary mother. She could put a drill sergeant to shame, and little sisters who were just like you, Kiyohime. Sometimes I wondered if they were even human or if I'd grown up in a family of demon lords. Demon lords? Kiyohime giggled. They sound fun. What were they like? Annoying, Satria said with a chuckle. One of them was overly clingy, just like you, and the other was the silent, calculating type. They'd team up against me all the time. But no matter how much they drove me crazy, I couldn't help but love them. That's family for you. Kiyohime smiled warmly. You must miss them. Yeah, he admitted. My father, on the other hand, was a military man. Strict as hell and frankly so silly, unlike a cool guy like me. He taught me martial arts, said every man should know how to defend himself. I used to complain about the training, but looking back, it was worth it. The discipline, the lessons, they shaped me into who I am today. Kiyohime's admiration for him grew as he continued. And then there were my friends. We grew up together in Indonesia. Whether it was sneaking out late at night, playing soccer on muddy fields, or eating at our favorite street stalls, we made the most out of everything. Life wasn't easy, but we knew how to have fun. Indonesia sounds like a lively place, Kiyohime said. I'd love to visit it someday. Satria grinned. You'd love it. The food, the culture, the chaos, it's all one big adventure. Though I doubt you'd survive my mom's cooking. Even I could barely handle her sambal. Sambal. Super spicy chili paste. One bite and you'll be breathing fire like a dragon. Kiyohime giggled. I'm not scared of a little spice. After all, I am a dragon. Satria laughed. We'll see about that. Kiyohime loosened her grip, giggling mischievously. Oh, Danasama, you're so funny and cute like a puppy. Satria froze, his face turning pale. That nickname struck a deep, traumatic chord in him. Puppy? His mind immediately flashed back to his childhood. Flashback. Look at our little puppy, his mother exclaimed, ruffling his hair as his younger sisters giggled uncontrollably. Stop calling me that. A young Satria protested, puffing out his chest. I'm cool, I'm strong, and I'm going to be a hero someday. Puppies aren't cool. But his family only laughed harder. His mother clutched her stomach, wiping tears of laughter, and his sisters? They made it their life's mission to use the nickname at every opportunity. Satria the puppy, coming to save the day, his little sister would chant, following him around the house. I'm not a puppy, he'd yell, but the more he protested, the more they teased him. End flashback. Satria buried his face in his hands, groaning in despair. Please, Kiyohime, I'm begging you, don't call me that. I'm supposed to be cool and handsome. That nickname makes me sound like a joke. Kiyohime blinked, then burst into a fit of laughter. Ara Danasama, you were called that before? How adorable! It's not adorable. Satria shot back, his ears turning red. Of course, anything for you, she replied, blushing at his praise. Thanks, Kiyohime. You're the best. Her cheeks flushed even deeper. Hee hee. Anything for my beloved Danasama. As he stepped into the bathroom and sank into the warm bath, he let out a contented sigh. Ah, this is life, he muttered, letting the water wash away his exhaustion. Yet, thoughts of Kiyohime lingered in his mind. She's a good girl, but that Yandere streak of hers is dangerous. I need to buy some cigarettes after this to clear my head. He shook his head and opening the group chat. Ding! Shin is online. Shin, morning, guys. Anyone here? Man with gender equality, morning. Off to my part-time job on a construction site with this useless goddess. Shin, nice ice guy life, hey? Must be great having a goddess tagging along. Ice sadist, good morning, Shin. Evil spirit, Aira good morning. Man with gender equality, screw you, Shin. Pervert sage, morning, Shin. Thanks for your advice earlier, because of you, Hey-8 survived. Shin, glad to help. Just keep the peace during the Chunin exams. Let things progress as they should. Naruto needs the experience. Pervert sage, why does he need more experience? Shin, this is just the start. His future enemies make Orochimaru look like a warm-up act. Pervert sage, really? Who are they? Shin, telling you might cause a butterfly effect. Even small changes can alter destiny in unpredictable ways. Ice sadist, butterfly effect? How dangerous could that be? Shin, very. The smallest interference can create a worse future. Trust me, it's better to let things play out. Pervert sage, still, I want to prepare. Tell me what's coming. I promise I won't share it outside this chat. Shin, fine. Do you know about Akatsuki? Pervert sage, yeah, a group of rogue shinobi. Shin, their goal is to collect all 9 bij and reassemble them into the J-by-A monster with power equal to the planet itself. Pervert sage, what? Even the Kaibi is terrifying. Why would anyone want to revive something like the J-by? Evil spirit, what's a Kaibi and a J-by? Shin, Kaibi is a 9-tailed fox made of pure chakra, sealed inside Naruto. J-by is what you get when you combine all 9 beasts like Kaibi. Its power is apocalyptic. Evil spirit, why seal such a thing inside a child? Shin, to create a living weapon. Naruto's father did it to save the village, hoping his son would be seen as a hero, but it didn't turn out that way. Pervert sage, that's true. I failed as his godfather. Shin, don't blame yourself. Just make up for it now by training him and preparing him for what's to come. Pervert sage, you're right. Thanks, Shin. If you ever need anything, I'll help however I can. Shin, appreciate it. Let's chat later. I've got things to do. Ding. Shin is offline. Stepping out of the bath, Satria dried off and dressed quickly. Kiyohime, I'm done. Your turn. Yes, Dana-sama. Your coffee is ready, enjoy. She gestured to the table before starting to undress. Hey, don't strip in front of me, he scolded, turning away. But if Dana-sama wants to watch, I don't mind. She teased, her cheeks pink. Do whatever you want, he muttered, shaking his head and sipping the coffee. Hey, this is actually good. Hehe, I'm glad you like it, she called out as she stepped into the bathroom. But, Dana-sama, please don't peek, okay? Troublesome girl. He smiled faintly. This life isn't so bad after all. To be continued. Chapter 7, Chapter 7. From Mountains to Modernity. Tokyo Prince Hotel. Tokyo, Japan. Are you ready, Kiyohime? Satria asked as he adjusted his casual clothes, already prepared to head out. Just a moment, Dana-sama, Kiyohime replied, fidgeting with her kimono. I'm still fixing my outfit. Satria tilted his head. Do you ever wear casual clothes? I noticed you're always in the same kimono. Kiyohime gave him an apologetic smile. No, Dana-sama. I lived in the mountains most of my life, so I never needed casual wear. He smiled warmly. All right, let's grab some after breakfast. It'll be a little shopping spree. Her eyes sparkled as she clung to his arm. Does this mean we're going on a date, Dana-sama? He chuckled softly. Sure, if that's what you want to call it. After packing their belongings, they headed to the hotel's breakfast buffet. As they entered, a loud grumble erupted from Kia-him's stomach. Her face flushed with embarrassment. I'm sorry, Dana-sama. Satria burst into laughter, patting her head affectionately. You're a funny girl. Go ahead and eat as much as you like, Kiyohime. But... Her gaze darted nervously around the elegant setting. This place looks expensive. I don't want to waste your money. He waved off her concerns. It's a buffet, Kiyohime. You can eat as much as you want. No need to hold back. At his reassurance, Kiyohime finally relaxed and hurried to fill her plate. Moments later, she returned carrying 2 plates, placing one in front of him. Dana-sama, I got this for you too, she said, smiling shyly. Thanks, Kiyohime. He looked at her with gratitude. What would you like to drink? I'll grab it for you. Green tea, please, she replied. And thank you, Dana-sama. After fetching their drinks, they began their meal. Satria observed her enjoying the variety of food with childlike wonder. Is this your first time at a buffet? He asked, amused. She nodded. Yes, it is. Everything here feels so luxurious. Satria smiled. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. Can I ask something? Why are you so interested in me? We barely knew each other when you decided to follow me. Kia-him's expression softened. Because you're honest. When I ask you things, you never hide your intentions or try to deceive me. You're different from others, Dana-sama. He chuckled. You're such a strange girl. Don't regret your decision later, okay? I won't, she said resolutely. I'll follow you wherever you go, Dana-sama. Forever. Satria and Kiyohime were seated at their table, enjoying the breakfast buffet. He couldn't help but marvel at how much she seemed to savor every bite. You're really enjoying this, huh? He remarked, smiling as she happily nibbled on a piece of tamagoyaki. Yes, Dana-sama. Everything is so delicious, Kiyohime replied, her eyes shining with excitement. A playful thought crossed his mind, and he decided to ask, by the way, Kiyohime, how old are you? For a moment, everything seemed fine until her cheerful expression froze. A chilling aura enveloped the room, and her usual gentle smile turned unsettling. Dana-sama, she said sweetly, though the eerie pressure in the air suggested anything but sweetness, are you saying I look old? Satria instantly felt a shiver run down his spine. Beads of sweat formed on his forehead as he waved his hands in panic. And no. That's not what I meant at all. I was just curious, really. I swear. The oppressive aura intensified for a moment before she let out a soft giggle. The tension dissipated as quickly as it had appeared. Phew, I'm just teasing you, Dana-sama. But, a lady doesn't reveal her age so easily. Satria slumped back into his chair, visibly relieved. Note to self: never ask Kiyohime her age again, he muttered under his breath. She tilted her head, smiling innocently. Did you say something, Dana-sama? Nothing. Nothing at all, he replied quickly, resuming his meal while Kiyohime giggled softly, clearly enjoying his reaction. Kyoha Academy. Kyoha, Japan. In the bustling halls of Kyoha Academy, 17-year-old Issei Hyudo lounged with his 2 best friends, Motohama and Matsuda. Issei, snap out of it. Motohama nudged him. You've been spacing out ever since you started playing those Iraj games. Matsuda laughed. Yeah, the day you get a real girlfriend is the day pigs fly. Hey, shut up. Issei retorted, flustered. I do have a girlfriend, her name's Yuma Amano. His friends exchanged doubtful looks. Sure, and I'm secretly dating a supermodel, Motohama quipped. Before Issei could argue further, the sound of girls swooning filled the hallway. Kya? Kaiba-kun is here. Why is he coming to our class? Obviously to see me, you delusional fool. Their whispers stopped when Kaiba Yuto, Kyoa Academy's golden prince, stepped into the room. He smiled politely at Issei. Issei-kun, can I speak with you? Ryusuke wants to see you. The entire room froze. What does the Prince of Kyoa want with him? No way, has Kaiba-kun fallen for Issei? Unacceptable. I refuse to lose to that pervert. Issei's sweat dropped at the wild speculations. What do you want, Bishounen? He asked bluntly. Our club president, Ryusuke, has something important to discuss. Please come with me to the Occult Research Club. The mention of Ryus immediately wiped Issei's skepticism. Wait, Ryus-senpai? The Ryus Gremory? Is this the start of my dream harem? With a goofy grin plastered on his face, he followed Kaiba out of the classroom. Kaiba-san, Issei said as they walked. Isn't the club room in the main building? No, Kaiba replied, pointing to an older, Gothic-style building. This was the original school building. Buku managed to acquire it for the club. Issei's excitement only grew as they approached the mysterious structure. Harajuku, Tokyo, Japan. Danasama, what do you think of this one? Kiyohime twirled in front of him, wearing a modern yet elegant outfit. Satria smiled approvingly. Beautiful. Pick 2 more outfits, but make sure they're within budget and preferably discounted. Her face lit up. Of course, dear. As she wandered off to browse, a shop employee approached Satria. Shopping for your girlfriend? You're so considerate for someone so young. Don't ask me, Satria replied with a shrug. As long as she's happy, I'm good. The employee chuckled. Phew, if only I'd met you sooner. I might have tried my luck. Suddenly, a chilling aura emanated from Kiyohime, who was glaring daggers at the woman. Satria sighed and walked over to her. No need to get mad, Kiyohime. We're here to enjoy ourselves. He patted her head, instantly melting her icy demeanor. Danasama. She hugged him tightly, ignoring the stares of other customers. All right. Let go, we're in public, he said, his cheeks slightly red. She grinned mischievously. Okay, but remember, Danasama, no cheating behind my back. You're such a troublesome girl, he muttered, though there was a fondness in his voice. Have you picked everything? Yes. Let's go pay and return to our love nest, she said, clutching his arm. At the register, Satria handed over his card, paying for the items. Thank you, Danasama, Kiyohime said, her voice brimming with gratitude. Yeah, he replied. As long as you're happy, it's worth it. Holding hands, they left the store and headed back to Kyoa, ready for whatever awaited them. To be continued. Chapter 8. First quest. After 4 long hours of travel, the train screeched to a halt at Kyoa station. Among the passengers, 2 figures sat together. One of them, a girl, was fast asleep, her head resting comfortably on the boy's shoulder. The boy smiled softly, watching her peaceful face. Hey, Kiyohime, wake up. We've arrived, he whispered, gently shaking her shoulder. 5 more minutes, Danasama, she murmured, snuggling closer. He sighed, exasperated yet amused. Leaning in, he whispered again, Kiyohime, be a good girl and wake up. Or I might just leave you here. Her eyes fluttered open instantly, tears welling up. Why, Danasama, don't leave me. I promise I'll be good, she cried, clinging to him like a lost kitten. Suppressing a laugh, he patted her head. I was kidding, Kiyohime. Come on, let's go home. She pouted, puffing her cheeks. Humph, Danasama is such a meanie. In his mind, a deep voice chuckled. Fatalis, you've softened up to her, haven't you, brother? She's adorable if you ignore the Yandere tendencies. It's not so bad, Fatalis. Her affection is sincere. Better this than being alone in a strange world, Satria responded internally. As they stepped off the train, a thought struck him. Wait a minute, Kiyohime. Stay here, I want to grab something from the convenience store. Okay, Danasama. I'll wait right here, she replied cheerfully, settling onto a station bench. A few minutes later, Satria emerged from the store with a scowl. Damn this country! They won't sell me cigarettes because I'm not 20? Stupid laws! As he muttered his complaints, he noticed Kiyohime's dark, intense gaze fixed on him. What? Phew, and what exactly were you trying to buy, Danasama? She asked, her tone sweet yet menacing. He froze. Chocolate. For you. He hastily held up a Kit Kat bar. Her expression softened into a bright smile as she took the offering. Oh my, how thoughtful, Danasama. But... Her eyes narrowed again. I didn't realize my sweet, innocent Danasama had a delinquent continue. I'm a good boy, Kiyohime, he stammered. Phew, maybe I'll have to discipline you when we get home, she teased, her tone sending shivers down his spine. In his mind, Fatalis snickered. Fatalis, you idiot, why would you try buying cigarettes in front of your girlfriend? I forgot, okay. And I forgot this isn't my country but Japan. Satria sighed as he sank deeper into the couch, trying to avoid Kiyohime's piercing gaze. She stood before him, arms crossed, her expression equal parts disappointment and frustration. Danasama, I need answers, she said, her tone leaving no room for argument. Answers? About what? He asked, feigning ignorance. She narrowed her eyes, her voice dropping to a dangerous sweetness. Since when have you been smoking, and who taught you? Satria scratched the back of his head, looking everywhere but at her. Do we really need to talk about this? Yes, we do. Now start talking, Kiyohime demanded, tapping her foot impatiently. Satria sighed again, realizing there was no escape. Fine. It started when I was in middle school. Her jaw dropped. Middle school? Why yet, he admitted sheepishly, scratching his head. But it wasn't my fault. It's my old man's fault, my dad. Kiyohime's brow furrowed. Your father taught you? Not exactly, Satria muttered, waving his hand defensively. It was during a family fishing trip. My dad handed me a cigarette, said, don't tell your mom, and lit one for himself. Danasama. That's terrible parenting. Kiyohime exclaimed, her hands on her hips. Yeah, well, karma got us, Satria said with a grimace. Mom found out anyway. Don't ask me how moms just know these things. And, let's just say she beat us both to a pulp. Both? Kiyohime asked, confused. Yeah. Me and my dad. He got the first round for being a bad influence, and I got the second round for not saying no. Satria winced at the memory. It was brutal. I couldn't sit properly for a week. Kiyohime covered her mouth in shock, though her lips twitched in amusement. Your poor mother. She must have been so disappointed. Yeah, well, it didn't stop me, Satria admitted with a shrug. I don't know why, but after that, I just kept doing it. Maybe it was the stress, maybe it was habit, but by high school, I was a full-blown smoker. Kiyohime stared at him, her eyes wide. High school too? Yeah, I know it's bad, he said, raising his hands in surrender. But hey, it's not like I was doing drugs or anything. That doesn't make it okay. Kiyohime snapped. Okay, Okay, I get it. Satria said, holding up the KitKat he'd bought earlier like a peace offering. Kiyohime sighed, shaking her head. Danasama, you're unbelievable. She sat down beside him, folding her hands in her lap. Promise me you'll stop. For real this time. Satria hesitated, scratching his head. I mean, I'll try. No trying, Danasama. You will quit, Kiyohime said firmly, her eyes narrowing. Do I need to stay by your side every moment to make sure you don't relapse? Satria chuckled nervously. I don't think that's necessary. Good, because if you don't quit, I'll make sure you regret it, she said, her sweet smile belying her menacing tone. Satria gulped, muttering under his breath, Yandere tendencies confirmed. What was that, Danasama? Nothing. Nothing at all. In the depths of his mind, Fatalis roared with laughter. Fatalis, what a glorious mess you've made, partner. Truly entertaining. Shut it, you freeloading dragon. Kyoa Academy, Japan. Issei Hyudu stood nervously outside a door labeled Occult Research Club. Come on in, a voice called from inside. Kaiba opened the door, and Issei stepped in hesitantly. The room was dimly lit, with strange symbols etched on the walls, ceiling, and floor. In the center lay an intricate magic circle that gave the room a distinctly eerie vibe. On a sofa nearby sat a small, sleepy-looking girl with white hair. Konako Tajao, Kyoa Academy's mascot. Who's this, Kaiba-senpai? She asked, her tone flat. This is Hyudo Issei, Kaiba replied with a polite smile. Ah. Nice to meet you, Konako said, bowing slightly. Issei returned the gesture. And nice to meet you too. Suddenly, the sound of running water drew his attention to the back of the room. He blinked, realizing it was a shower. Why does this room have a shower, he thought, baffled. The water stopped, and he heard a voice. Here, Bucko. The curtain slid open, revealing Rias Gremory, Kyoa's famed Oni-sama, her crimson hair dripping wet. Sorry about that, she said with a smile. I didn't get a chance to shower at your place last night. Wait, last night wasn't a dream. She was really in my house. As he gawked, Konako muttered, pervert. Issei's face turned beet red. I am sorry. Another figure entered, a striking black-haired woman with an elegant demeanor. Aram, my name is Himejima Akeno. Pleased to meet you, she said with a charming smile. And nice to meet you too. Issei stammered. Enough with the introductions, Rias interrupted. Let's get to the point. Hyudo Issei, you're now a devil. At home, Satria sat awkwardly in the living room as Kiyohime lectured him. Danasama, you're still young. You must take care of your health, and smoking is a terrible habit. I won't allow it. For the past hour, she had been scolding him like a strict mother. Okay, I get it. I won't touch it. Again, maybe, he muttered, defeated. She smiled triumphantly and patted his head. Hee, I knew you were a good boy, Danasama. In his mind, Fatalis groaned. Fatalis, you've been tamed, brother. I'm ashamed of you. Suddenly, a notification appeared in his vision. __. Ding. Group quest activated. Objective, help at Pervert Sage protect Konoha. Required participants, 2. Time in your world will pause during the quest. __. Satria grinned, his blood pumping. Finally, some action. Ready, Fatalis. Fatalis roared in his mind. Fatalis, let's show them the power of the Calamity Dragon. To be continued. Chapter 9. Welcome to Konoha. A blinding light enveloped Satria, and when he opened his eyes, he found himself in a dense forest. The air was crisp, and the rustling leaves created a tranquil symphony. Yet, his mind raced as he turned his gaze to the woman standing nearby. She was unmistakable, tall, with long blue hair flowing behind her, clad in a militaristic uniform that spoke of authority and bloodshed. Her eyes, cold and calculating, narrowed as they met his. Oh, no, Satria thought, his heart skipping a beat. It's her. Asdeath. The sadistic general. Why did it have to be her? Before he could recover, she smiled a predatory smirk that sent chills down his spine. You're Shin, correct? She asked, her voice as sweet as it was dangerous. Satria nodded cautiously. That's right. Nice to meet you, Asdeath. Her eyes flickered with curiosity. You know my name. How is that possible? Thinking fast, Satria grinned. It's my power. I can glimpse fragments of people's futures and alternate timelines. You're rather famous in those. Asdeath's smirk widened, but now there was genuine interest. A fascinating ability. I like that. Now, shall we find this so-called pervert sage you mentioned earlier? Satria opened the chat group interface, grateful for the distraction. Moments later, Satria and Asdeath arrived at a clearing. As they stepped out of the forest, Satria froze in awe. The familiarity of the location struck him like a bolt of lightning. This is the third training ground, he whispered, barely containing his excitement. Asdeath raised an eyebrow, unimpressed. And why does that matter? It's legendary. Satria exclaimed, pointing toward the area. This is where Team 7 Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura had their first training session with Kakashi. The bell test. This is sacred ground for fans from my world. Asdeath looked at him blankly. Sacred? It's just a clearing with some trees. Ignoring her, Satria approached a black stone marker near the edge of the field. His eyes softened as he ran a hand over its surface. This, he said, is the memorial stone. It lists the names of all shinobi who gave their lives in service to Konoha. He pulled out his phone and snapped a picture for posterity. Asdeath watched him, her curiosity piqued. You seem sentimental for someone so smug. He glanced back, smiling. This stone reminds me of the sacrifices people make for what they believe in. It's a symbol of courage, even if I'm just a visitor here. Before Asdeath could respond, a loud voice interrupted them. Who are you, and what are you doing here? Both turned to see a man with long white hair perched on a tree branch, his red outfit and wooden sandals unmistakable. His wide grin radiated confidence as he jumped down, landing with theatrical flair. Satria's eyes widened. No way. That's Jiraiya. The man struck a ridiculous pose, his arms wide and chest puffed. I am the great Jiraiya, the Toad Sage of Mount Myaboku. Women adore me, men envy me, and I am the proud author of the legendary Ika Ika series. He pointed at them dramatically. So, who are you two, and why are you trespassing? Asdeath tilted her head, unimpressed. You're the pervert. I'm not a pervert. Jiraiya protested. Then, with a sly grin, he added, I'm a super pervert. Satria buried his face in his hands. This guy is hopeless. Asdeath, on the other hand, smirked. Humph. At least you're honest. But don't think your antics will distract me if you're hiding something. Jiraiya's expression sobered slightly as he studied the two of them. His eyes lingered on Asdeath, narrowing in suspicion. This woman, she reeks of death. Just how many lives has she taken? Breaking the tension, Satria spoke up. We're here to help. There's an invasion coming during the Chuunin exams. Orochimaru's involved, and things are going to get messy if we don't act fast. Jiraiya frowned, his demeanor becoming serious. Orochimaru, hey? What do you know about his plan? Satria glanced at Asdeath before answering. It's complicated, but he'll disguise himself as the fourth Kazekage, orchestrate an attack on Konoha, and even revive the first and second Hokage using a forbidden jutsu called Edo Tensei. Your Hokage will be in grave danger. Jiraiya's face darkened. The first and second, revived? That's not something to take lightly. If you're telling the truth, we have a lot to prepare for. Esteth cracked her knuckles, a sadistic gleam in her eye. Good. It sounds like there will be plenty of strong opponents to crush. Jiraiya studied her warily. Just, don't destroy the village in the process, okay? Satria sighed. Let's focus on the plan first. We don't have much time. In a dimly lit room, Kabuto adjusted his glasses, a smirk playing on his lips as he addressed the group of Suna and Oto ninja before him. Everything is in place, he said smoothly. The Chuunin exams will proceed as planned, and when the signal is given, you will strike. One of the Suna Jonin frowned. And you're sure the Kazekage is on board with this? Kabuto's smirk widened. Of course. Rest assured, Lord Orochimaru's promises will be kept, as long as you hold up your end of the bargain. The Jonin nodded reluctantly, leaving the room to join his team. As the door closed, Kabuto chuckled to himself. Fools! They don't even realize their Kazekage is already dead. To be continued. Chapter 10, Chapter 10. Genius vs Failure. Unknown in, Konohagakure. Morning has come. Three figures sit down for breakfast, discussing their plans. Jiraiya begins, the Chuunin exams start in 3 hours. I'll assist the third Hokage with Shin while Esteth handles external threats. During the exams, I'll patrol in the shadows to ensure nothing unexpected occurs. Satria contemplates quietly, recalling an earlier conversation with Fatalis about an untested technique. Flashback. Satria, training in a forest with Kiyohime, struggles to channel Fatalis energy in his Calamity Rider form. His attempt ends in an explosion, leaving a crater and himself injured. Fatalis, partner. This is too dangerous, we should stop. Lying in pain, Satria sighs. I'll master it someday, but not today. End flashback. Returning to the present, Satria addresses Jiraiya. Have you prepared sealing tags for the first and second Hokage? Orochimaru's Edo Tensei weakens them, but they're still formidable. Jiraiya nods. Don't worry, I've prepared for that. But are you certain Naruto should face the Suna Jinchuriki? He's their trump card. Trust him, Satria replies confidently. Naruto will surprise you. Gaara will be one of his greatest allies in the future. Esteth, eager for battle, interjects, what about me? You'll handle the invaders and assist Konoha's shinobi if needed. If anyone asks, say you're Jiraiya's ally, Satria instructs. Jiraiya grins. Now, let's enjoy the final day of the exams. The arena is alive with cheers as spectators gather to watch the matches. Participants wait anxiously, except for Sasuke, who remains absent. From the Hokage's seat, the third greets the Kazekage. The tension is palpable as Gaara glares at the Kazekage with intense hatred. After a brief exchange, the third announces the start of the final round. In the stands, Satria and Esteth observe. That's Orochimaru in disguise, Satria notes. He also notices Gaara's unstable demeanor. Esteth smirks. This is getting interesting. The third Hokage's speech ignites the crowd, and the matches begin. The first fight, Uzumaki Naruto vs Hyuuga Neji. Naruto stands across from Neji, full of determination. I told you, I'll win. Neji activates his Byakugan, scoffing. We'll see how long your delusions last. The match begins, with Naruto throwing a kunai before charging in. Neji deftly dodges and counters with Juken strikes, targeting Naruto's chakra points. Naruto reels in pain, retreating to assess his opponent. Spectator POV. Esteth, puzzled, asks, why does Naruto look so hurt? The strikes seem light. Satria explains, that's the gentle fist style. It damages internal organs and chakra pathways. Impressive, she replies, intrigued. Back to the fight. Naruto summons shadow clones and attacks in unison. Neji dismantles them effortlessly, striking the original and delivering a harsh truth. You can't change fate, weakling. Those destined to lose will always lose. Naruto, undeterred, smirks. You talk too much. He creates more clones, attempting a surprise attack, but Neji counters with his Kaden, a spinning chakra barrier that repels everything. Naruto grits his teeth. This guy's tough, but I'm not giving up. Man with gender equality, Naruto. Beat that prick. Don't listen to him. Evil spirit, what was that spin move? Impressive defense. Shin, that's Kaden, a Hyuga clan technique that repels attacks with a chakra barrier. Naruto will need to get creative. Despite repeated failures, Naruto refuses to back down. He summons another wave of clones but is again repelled by Kaden. Neji, confident, activates his 8 trigrams technique, trapping Naruto in a deadly zone. This is the end. But Naruto, battered and determined, stands tall. You don't know me, Neji. I never quit. Spectator POV. Asdeath watches intently. This boy, he's something else. I'm beginning to see why you trust him, Shin. Satria grins. Told you. The crowd roared in excitement, but tension filled the arena as the battle unfolded. You are within the area of my 8 trigrams. Neji's voice carried both authority and finality. His stance was perfect, and his Byakugan glinted with precision as he prepared his finishing move. Naruto struggled to rise, but his determination was unwavering. Neji moved in an instant. Trigrams, gentle fist art, 8 trigrams 64 palms. Neji's strikes landed with devastating accuracy, each blow closing Naruto's chakra points. By the end of the technique, Naruto collapsed to the ground, gasping for air. The referee hesitated, stepping closer. Is it over? But Naruto, trembling and bruised, pressed his palms against the ground and attempted to push himself up. Neji smirked. I've sealed all 64 of your chakra points. Standing is impossible now. Naruto clenched his teeth, pain edged across his face. So. Neji's smile widened. Frustrated, aren't you? Kneeling before the power of destiny you can't escape. Working hard to reach your dream, what an illusion. Spectator POV. Asdeath's piercing eyes followed the match intently. What is he doing now? That blonde brat looks like he's ready to break any moment. Satria exhaled smoke from his cigarette, his gaze fixed on Naruto. Neji's closed all his chakra points, cutting off his ability to use techniques. Even standing should be torture now. Then it's over? Asdeath asked, her tone disappointed. Satria chuckled. No, not yet. Look at him. Even in this state, he's still trying to fight. Watch closely. This match is far from over. Naruto POV. Pain shot through Naruto's body with every breath. His limbs felt like lead, his chakra unresponsive. For a moment, despair clawed at him. Then, like a spark, memories of Hinata and Lee's battles flooded his mind. Hinata's courage despite the odds, Lee's unwavering resolve. Naruto gritted his teeth, forcing his body to move. So. Neji's confident expression faltered as Naruto began to rise. No way. Naruto grinned through the pain, his voice resolute. I told you, didn't I? I don't know when to give up. Neji's eyes narrowed. Why continue? The result won't change. Surrender, and spare yourself the humiliation. Urusei, date Bayo. Naruto barked, his grin widening. I've got my reasons. Niji's confusion turned to irritation. What are you talking about? Naruto's expression darkened. Why, when you're this strong, do you act like you've already given up? Why did you crush Hinata, someone who's doing her best, without a second thought? Niji froze for a moment, his fists tightening. That has nothing to do with you. Naruto shook his head. Mocking her, calling her a failure. I don't care about your head family or branch family issues. But I won't forgive anyone who labels someone else a failure. __. Man with gender equality, this kid, it's like I'm watching a hero's journey unfold in real time. Damn, that speech gave me chills. Evil spirit, Era, what an intriguing boy. His resolve, that fire in his eyes. I wonder what trick he'll use to win. __. Niji's eyes softened for a brief moment. So, you want to understand? Fine. I'll show you what binds me, what binds the Hyuga. He removed his headband, revealing the green seal etched into his forehead. Naruto's brow furrowed. What's that? Niji's voice turned cold. This is the caged bird seal, inscribed on me when I was 4. A reminder of the destiny I cannot escape. He recounted the Hyuga clan's tragic divide, his father's fate, and the curse that chained him to the branch family. Naruto listened in silence, his fists trembling. Finally, he shouted, I don't know the pain you've been through, but it's a mistake to let it define your entire life. Niji scoffed. Enough talk. You're hopeless. He charged forward, striking Naruto's stomach with his gentle fist. Naruto fell to the ground again, his body motionless. Niji turned to the referee. It's over. A strained voice cut through the silence. Don't, run away. Niji turned in disbelief to see Naruto standing again. Through labored breaths, Naruto grinned. I stand by my own words. Because that's my Nindo. My ninja way. Suddenly, Naruto's chakra flared. An orange aura enveloped him, crackling with raw energy. Niji's eyes widened. What is this? The crowd erupted in astonished murmurs. Spectator POV. Asdeath leaned forward, eyes gleaming. That orange chakra, is this the Kyuubi you mentioned? Satria nodded, his grin widening. Yeah, the 9 tails. Now watch how he turns this around. With newfound speed, Naruto closed the gap between him and Niji in an instant, attacking with renewed vigor. Niji retaliated with his Kaden, deflecting Naruto's shuriken, but his movements grew sluggish. I don't care about Hyuga's destiny. Naruto shouted, clashing kunai with Niji. When I become Hokage, I'll change the Hyuga too. Niji's Byakugan caught Naruto creating a clone in the crater, but before he could react, the real Naruto emerged behind him. Take this! Naruto's punch connected with Niji's jaw, sending him crashing to the ground. The referee stepped forward, raising his hand. The winner is Uzumaki Naruto. The crowd exploded into cheers. Niji, lying on the ground, stared at the sky. A failure, defeated me. Naruto extended a hand, smiling. There's no such thing as a failure. You just have to believe in yourself. Spectator POV. Asdeath couldn't hide her grin. Amazing, that boy. His strength, his heart, he's going to be someone remarkable. Satria chuckled, lighting another cigarette. I told you, didn't I? He's the kind of person who changes the world. Asdeath gave him a sly glance. Since when did you smoke? Since now, he replied with a smirk. To be continued. Chapter 11, Chapter 11. Arrival of the Uchiha. The crowd erupted in cheers. The winner of this match is Uzumaki Naruto, the referee announced, smiling. Naruto froze for a moment, taking it all in. The applause, the cheers, the recognition, something he'd craved his entire life. Ha, ha ha, yay! Naruto exclaimed, throwing up a peace sign and running around the arena in celebration. ___. Man who respects equality, look how happy he is. I'm proud of you, Naruto. That was a great fight. Evil spirit, Ara what a cute boy. Still full of energy after all that. Perverted sage, that's my student right there. He. __. Satria glanced at Esdeath, noticing her intent gaze on Naruto. So, what do you think? Interesting kid, hey. Esdeath smirked. Can I kidnap him for my empire? Satria's sweat dropped. You're serious? Why not? With the right training, he could grow into a powerful leader. Maybe even an emperor. Satria sighed. First, he still has a role to play here. Second, we can't exactly send people between worlds yet. Humph, not fun. Esdeath folded her arms but kept watching Naruto, his smile strangely warming her heart. Fine. I'll wait. 3 or 4 years isn't that long. Let's see how strong he gets. Satria glanced at Naruto and sighed. Good luck, kid. You've already got one candidate for your future wife. It's buzzing, isn't it? Kazekage remarked, amused. Indeed, a good match stirs the crowd, the Hokage replied. Speaking of matches, the next one has some important viewers waiting. The Hokage knew exactly who he meant, Uchiha Sasuke. His bodyguard whispered to him about Sasuke's absence. Perhaps it's better to disqualify him, the Hokage murmured thoughtfully. The referee received the order and announced, due to the absence of the next participant, the match is postponed. We'll move to the following match instead. Kankuro forfeited his fight against Shino, earning boos from the crowd. Next, the referee called for Shikamaru Nara vs Temari. Shikamaru sighed, already irritated. Troublesome. Naruto, grinning mischievously, pushed him into the arena. Get in there. The fight proceeded similarly to canon, with Shikamaru outsmarting Temari using his shadow jutsu. He had her trapped, and the result seemed obvious. But then Shikamaru raised his hand. Good grief, I give up, he said lazily. The crowd gasped in shock. Spectator POV. Esdeath, this boy is a genius. I want him in my army. Satria, agreed. Too bad he's so lazy. Temari blinked in disbelief. What did you say? I used up too much chakra. Can't keep fighting, Shikamaru said, though everyone knew he was just too lazy to bother. Winner, Temari, the referee declared, sweat dropping. Naruto jumped into the arena, scolding Shikamaru. Meanwhile, Satria chuckled. He didn't win the match, but he might have won her heart. The arena grew restless as the crowd demanded Uchiha Sasuke. Just then, 2 figures appeared. Sorry we're late, said Kakashi casually, standing beside Sasuke. The crowd roared in excitement. Naruto glared at Sasuke. Sasuke. Sasuke smirked. HN. I want to fight you, too. Yet. Meanwhile, in the waiting room, Gaara's twisted grin spread as he watched Sasuke. Temari noticed. Not good. She whispered to Kankuro, don't provoke him. He's in a killing mood. Gaara casually walked out, killing 2 attacking shinobi with no hesitation, ignoring the horrified stares of Naruto and Shikamaru. Sasuke entered the arena, his opponent already waiting. The referee looked between them. The rules are the same as the preliminaries, the match ends when one dies or surrenders. Ready? Neither replied, their gazes locked. Begin. The clash of the Uchiha and the monster from Suna began. From the stands, Satria and Esdeath observed the match intently. So, this is the last Uchiha, hey? Esdeath asked, her piercing gaze fixed on Sasuke. Satria took a puff from his cigarette, smirking. Yab. A kid with a tragic past and a bloodline that's more trouble than it's worth. Watch closely. He's Kakashi's star student for a reason. Esdeath leaned forward slightly, intrigued. Humph. He moves well for his age, but his eyes. I see revenge, not ambition. That could make him both dangerous and foolish. Satria chuckled. You're sharp as always. But trust me, this is just the warm-up. Suzuki darted forward, shurikens in hand, launching them with precision. Gaara's sand sprang to life, forming a wall that effortlessly blocked the attack. Suzuki used the opportunity to close the distance, appearing behind Gaara with a burst of speed. A powerful punch connected with Gaara's face, sending him skidding back. As Gaara straightened, the cracked surface of his face revealed the sand armor beneath. So, that's his trick, Suzuki muttered, narrowing his eyes. Gaara's lips curled into a sinister smile. Without a word, he raised his hands, and his sand enveloped him, forming a dense, impenetrable sphere. He's hiding in there, Suzuki thought, observing the sand dome. He attacked repeatedly, but the sphere repelled every strike with sharp, sand-like spikes. So, its defense and offense combined. Impressive, but not perfect. From the stands, Naruto yelled, "You've got this, Suzuki! Kick his butt!" Satria leaned back, shaking his head. Naruto's faith is cute, but Sasuke's gonna have to pull out the big guns for this one. Esdeath raised an eyebrow. Big guns? You mean he has more techniques? Show me. Suzuki leaped to the arena wall, his hands forming seals. Sparks crackled as blue lightning danced around his hand, the sound of 1,000 birds filling the air. Chidori! Suzuki roared, descending upon Gaara's sand sphere. The Chidori pierced the sand dome, breaking through Gaara's absolute defense and striking his shoulder. Blood splattered as Gaara screamed, clutching his wound. But then, Suzuki froze. Something primal, something monstrous radiated from Gaara. His scream morphed into maniacal laughter. "You've hurt me," Gaara hissed, his voice distorted. "Mother is angry now." Suzuki pulled back, his instincts screaming at him to retreat. The sand began shifting wildly, twisting into monstrous shapes around Gaara. Before anyone could react, white feathers began to fall across the arena. One by one, the spectators, shinobi, and civilians alike began collapsing, succumbing to the genjutsu. Genjutsu! Kakashi shouted, dispelling it in time to protect Naruto and Sakura. From the Hokage's seat, a loud explosion erupted. The barrier activated, encasing the third Hokage and Kazekage in a deadly confrontation. "This is it," Satria muttered, standing. He looked at Esdeath. "It's time to move." Esdeath's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Finally! I've been itching for a real fight." Naruto, unaffected thanks to Kakashi's quick action, ran to the arena's edge. "Suzuki! Get out of there!" he shouted, but his voice was drowned out by the chaos. Suzuki, now fully on guard, backed away as Gaara's form began to morph. Sand twisted into the shape of a monstrous arm, his chakra flaring with murderous intent. "Stay still," Gaara growled, his voice a mix of human and beast. "I'll show you, my true self." Amid the chaos, Satria activated his dimensional barrier, protecting himself and Esdeath from the genjutsu. "Esdeath, you ready? Things are about to get messy." Esdeath smirked, drawing her rapier. "Messy is my specialty. Let's go." Together, they vanished from the stands, heading toward the heart of the invasion. From above, enemy shinobi poured into the village. Explosions rocked the arena, sending debris flying. The spectators who had avoided the genjutsu began to flee, screams echoing through the air. In the middle of the chaos, Suzuki stared down the monstrous Gaara, his hand crackling with the last remnants of his Chidori. Naruto clenched his fists, determination burning in his eyes. "Suzuki, don't lose! From the shadows, Orochimaru watched, a sinister smile on his face. Let's see how far you've come, Uchiha Sasuke. To be continued. Chapter 12, Chapter 12. A predator among shinobi. Fatalis, brother, this is the time. Satria turned to Esdeath, who nodded in acknowledgement. Lucky for them, Jiraiya had already prepared measures to block genjutsu, ensuring they wouldn't fall victim to it. Esdeath, are you okay? Satria asked, his tone firm but laced with concern. She gave a brief nod. I'm fine. What you said is true. But where is Jiraiya? Before he could answer, the arena shook with the sound of a deafening explosion. All eyes turned to the Hokage's seat, now shrouded in thick smoke. Anbu operatives immediately rushed toward the scene. I see. That's the signal, Satria muttered under his breath. The air was thick with tension as Satria and Esdeath observed the commotion from their vantage point. The explosion left everyone in the arena stunned, unsure of what would happen next. Time to act, Satria thought as he reached into his pocket, retrieving a black device marked with a dragon emblem. Without hesitation, he pressed it to his belt, triggering an instant transformation. Henshin. Dark energy enveloped his body, forming a sleek black suit of armor adorned with dragon motifs. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the remaining conscious crowd, their shock evident. Esdeath, standing beside him, smirked, intrigued by his transformation. Interesting. I didn't know you had tricks like this. Before he could respond, Kakashi Hatake stepped forward, his visible eye narrowing in suspicion. Who are you? State your purpose. I'm an ally, Satria replied calmly. Jiraiya-san brought us here to assist your village. Kakashi considered his words briefly, then nodded. If Jiraiya trusts you, then so will I. We need all the help we can get. That's the spirit of youth. Might Guy chimed in, giving a thumbs up. Let's protect Konoha together. Their exchange was cut short as six sound ninja materialized in front of them. We can't let you interfere with Lord Orochimaru's plans, one of them sneered. Orochimaru! Kakashi exclaimed, his voice taut with caution. Yes, the ninja said smugly. Our master will assassinate the Hokage and bring this village to its knees. Before the ninja could say more, Esdeath acted. She froze the ground beneath his feet in an instant, sending an icy spike through his chest. His lifeless body fell to the ground, his head rolling away in the process. Weakling, she muttered, her voice cold as the ice she wielded. Too much talk, not enough action. The remaining genin, witnessing the display of cruelty, were visibly shaken. Even Kakashi and Guy tensed, their instincts screaming that this woman was as dangerous as she was powerful. Kakashi addressed her cautiously. Who are you, if I may ask? Esdeath turned to him with an amused grin. The name's Esdeath. Like him, she gestured toward Satria, I'm an acquaintance of your perverted sage. Kakashi's sweat dropped, chuckling nervously. I see, so Jiraiya really has interesting friends. He composed himself quickly. Kakashi Hatake, at your service. This is my teammate, Might Guy. Esdeath smirked. Nice to meet you. Now, let's get this over with, I'm getting bored already. On the rooftop, four figures surrounded the Hokage, preparing to spring a barrier jutsu. Before they could act, Jiraiya arrived, landing a devastating raise nan on one of the ninja, sending him flying. You! Orochimaru's voice dripped with venom. Jiraiya! The Sandaime Hokage narrowed his eyes at the man posing as the Kazekage. Orochimaru, what have you done to the real Kazekage? Orochimaru smirked, his face peeling away to reveal his true identity. He's dead, sensei. Now, it's your turn. Satria turned to Esdeath. Stick to the plan. Help the others with the invaders and summonings. I'll handle things up top. Esdeath scowled. TCH fine. but I'd rather be fighting someone worth my time. She turned and walked away, heading toward the chaos in the village. Let's go, Kakashi-san, Gai-san, Satria called before leaping to the roof. The two jonin exchanged a quick nod before following him. The giant three-headed snake loomed over the village, wreaking havoc. Konoha's shinobi fought valiantly but were no match for the beast. Weapons and jutsu barely scratched its thick hide, and its massive tail swept through buildings with ease. This is bad, one shinobi muttered as the snake advanced. Suddenly, the ground froze beneath the snake's massive tail, locking it in place. Ice spikes erupted, piercing through several attacking Suna ninja, who collapsed instantly. The shinobi turned to see his death, her icy aura radiating power. Thanks, who are you? Are you an ally? She gave a curt nod. Jiraiya sent me to assist. Don't waste my time with questions, focus on surviving. Turning her attention to the massive snake, Estheth smirked. Now, that's a big one. Let's see how it handles the cold. Jiraiya grinned at Orochimaru. You really don't learn, do you? Orochimaru snarled. Bastard! I'll deal with you first. Sandame chuckled at the banter. Jiraiya, I thought you'd be off peeking into baths, not saving old men like me. Jiraiya rolled his eyes. I'm here to save your sorry ass, old man. Orochimaru smirked, biting his thumb and forming seals. Let's see how confident you are after this. Edo Tensei. Two coffins rose from the ground, revealing the first and second Hokage. This. Hiruzen's eyes widened. The first Hokage frowned. Summoning the dead? You've stooped low, haven't you? Orochimaru smirked, affixing tags to their foreheads. Now, sensei, let's see how you fare against legends. Before the battle could begin, a blazing fist of black flames shot toward Orochimaru, forcing him to shed his skin. Who did that? Orochimaru hissed. A figure emerged from the shadows. Sorry I'm late, Jiraiya. Needed to warm up first. Jiraiya smirked. Took you long enough, Shin. Sandame nodded. With him here, it's a fair fight now. Let's end this, Orochimaru. The first Hokage stepped forward, his hand seals swift. Mokuton, Jokaikuton, he commanded, causing massive roots and trees to surge from the rooftop, threatening to overwhelm Satria and the others. Not this again, Satria muttered, channeling his dark energy. He raised his sword, summoning a swirling flame of destructive power. Dark Vortex. The flame obliterated the incoming wooden onslaught, carving a straight path toward Orochimaru. Impressive, Orochimaru sneered, biting his thumb. But predictable. Kokios, Rashman. The massive demonic gate materialized, its grotesque visage absorbing the brunt of Satria's attack. Despite this, cracks formed across the gate, a testament to the sheer force behind the strike. Hiruzen, observing from the side, furrowed his brows. What kind of power is that? It's not a chakra, it's something entirely foreign. It's a power you won't understand, old man, Satria retorted, preparing for his next move. But it gets the job done. Meanwhile, Estheth stood atop an ice tower overlooking the village. The giant three-headed snake summoned by Orochimaru writhed in pain as her Weiss Schnabel ice spears impaled two of its heads. You're persistent, aren't you? She remarked, watching the creature struggle to rise again. Fine. Let's finish this. Growhorn. A massive ice spear erupted from the base of her tower, piercing the snake's remaining head and pinning it to the ground. The beast thrashed for a moment before going limp, its body collapsing into the rubble. Konoha shinobi below erupted into cheers. Lady Estheth. You saved us. She's incredible. She's terrifying. One murmured quietly, too afraid to say it aloud. Estheth smirked at their reactions, stepping down from her tower. How dull. Is there no one left who can challenge me? Her cold, piercing gaze scanned the battlefield. Back on the rooftop, Jiraiya faced off against the first Hokage, the legendary shinobi's movements relentless as he used Mokuton techniques to pin Jiraiya down. "You are strong, students of Hiruzen," Hashirama said, his voice calm despite the situation. "But I regret having to fight you under these circumstances." "Save the formalities, old man," Jiraiya quipped, evading a barrage of wooden tendrils. "I'm not going to let some zombie ruin my village." With the help of Fukasaku and Shima, Jiraiya managed to trap Hashirama in a coordinated attack using Senpo, Gomen, a blazing mixture of oil, fire, and wind that incinerated the wooden constructs around them. Hashirama, though unharmed due to Edo Tensei regeneration, glanced at Satria instead of his opponent. "This boy, he's a dangerous one." Hiruzen, breathing heavily, deflected another water dragon summoned by Tobirama with a quick earth-style, mud wall. His voice was resolute as he addressed his old mentors. "Forgive me, Lord First, Lord Second. This is not your will, and I have no choice but to stop you." Tobirama, his face impassive under Orochimaru's control, unleashed another wave of water needles, targeting Hiruzen. Jiraiya leaped in, blocking the attack with a Sage Mode barrier. "We need to wrap this up, Sensei. I don't think I can keep this up much longer." Hiruzen nodded grimly, his old hands forming hand seals. "Jiraiya, we must seal them. Orochimaru hasn't summoned them at their peak strength. This is our only chance." "You always were a sharp strategist, Lord Second," Hiruzen muttered, parrying a kunai aimed at his throat. "But I learned from the best." Hiruzen combined fire style, fire dragon flame bombs with his staff, Inma, to push Tobirama back. The older Hokage showed signs of strain, Orochimaru's technique unable to fully sustain his chakra reserves. "Jiraiya, now!" Hiruzen shouted as he formed the seals for the Reaper Death Seal. Jiraiya summoned two sealing toads, one to immobilize Hashirama and the other to suppress Tobirama's chakra. The two legendary Hokages fought valiantly but were clearly being overpowered. Hashirama, now restrained by the toads, looked directly at Jiraiya. "You and Hiruzen, you have done well protecting the village." Tobirama, likewise subdued, turned to Hiruzen with a faint smirk. "For an old man, you still fight with fire, Saru. Make sure our enemy doesn't destroy everything we built." Hiruzen grimaced, his resolve firm. "I won't let it happen." The spectral form of the Reaper appeared behind him, its ethereal attack descending upon the two Hokages. Reaper Death Seal. The souls of the first and second Hokages were dragged out of their resurrected bodies, their expressions peaceful as they faded away. The two coffins slammed shut, vanishing in a puff of smoke. Hiruzen fell to his knees, his age catching up with him. Jiraiya caught him before he collapsed fully. "You did it, Sensei. The first and second are finally at peace." "Not yet," Hiruzen whispered, his gaze locking on Orochimaru, who was still battling Satria. "We still have work to do." Jiraiya looked toward the battle between Satria and Orochimaru, his eyes narrowing. "Shin's holding his own, we need to help him now." "Don't bother." The sheer force of his voice, laced with raw power and unyielding authority, stopped Jiraiya and Hiruzen in their tracks. It wasn't just the sound, it was the oppressive aura that radiated from him, a presence so overwhelming that it demanded submission. Satria clashed swords with Orochimaru again, his dark flames dancing against the serpentine blade. Despite his inexperience, Satria relied on his instincts and sheer determination to keep up. "You're sloppy," Orochimaru taunted, his strikes calculated and merciless. "It's like watching a child play with a sword." Satria gritted his teeth, narrowly evading a thrust aimed at his heart. "And yet, you still can't finish me off, can you?" Channeling his flames, Satria unleashed another technique. Dark Fang Slash. A wave of dark fire surged forward, forcing Orochimaru to leap back. But the Sunin was unfazed. With a smirk, he vanished and reappeared behind Satria, his blade slicing deep into the boy's side. "You're predictable," Orochimaru hissed. "Your power is wasted on someone as inexperienced as you." Satria stumbled, blood dripping from his wound, but he refused to fall. "And you're still a coward who hides behind tricks and experiments, Pedomaru. Fatalis, brother, stop holding back. Use the card." With a nod, Satria reached into his advent deck once more, pulling another card. Sliding it into the drag visor, the familiar mechanical voice echoed, announcing the weapon that would turn the tide. "Strike Vent." Suddenly, the air grew heavy as a shadow began to form around Satria. A massive, fearsome black dragon emerged, its scales shimmering with an ominous sheen. The dragon coiled behind Satria, its eyes glowing with malice. From its form, a sleek, otherworldly bow materialized in Satria's hands, its limbs sharp and jagged, like the fangs of a predator. The battlefield went silent as Satria raised the black dragon bow, its design pulsating with dark energy. A crackling black arrow, made of concentrated magic and flames, appeared on the string. Its tip glowed ominously, radiating the promise of destruction. Orochimaru's usual grin faltered as he saw the weapon. He could feel it, this wasn't just an arrow. It was something far more dangerous, a fusion of raw power and the will of a conqueror. Orochimaru's eyes widened. "What? Run, Pedomaru, if you dare. But you won't escape me." Satria drew the bowstring back, the arrow's energy intensifying. The force of his draw sent gusts of wind spiraling around him, pushing debris across the battlefield. His glowing eyes locked onto his enemy. When the smoke cleared, Orochimaru stood, his clothes tattered, his body regenerating unnaturally thanks to his forbidden techniques. "You!" Orochimaru coughed, clearly shaken but still standing. "You're much more dangerous than I expected. But this is far from over." Before Satria could finish him, Orochimaru summoned a massive snake to cover his escape. Satria dropped to one knee, exhausted. "Coward!" Jiraiya landed beside him, clapping him on the shoulder. "You did good, kid. But next time, try not to get so beat up." Satria chuckled weakly. "Next time, you take the snake freak." To be continued. Chapter 13, Chapter 13. Heroes Unbound. Satria's eyes narrowed. "The timeline is changing tch. I didn't expect he survived from my attacks." "It's my bad," he admitted, his fists clenching. Orochimaru survived, battered but alive, leaving him far more dangerous than he should have been. Hiruzen placed a hand on Satria's shoulder, his touch light but firm. "No, young man. You've done more than enough. If anyone is to blame, it's me, for allowing Orochimaru to walk this path." Old man Jiraiya began, but Hiruzen raised a hand to silence him. The third Hokage's breath was ragged, his aged body pushed beyond its limits by the forbidden jutsu. "Listen, all of you. This is the end of my journey, but not the end for Konoha." Jiraiya clenched his fists. "Don't talk like that, old man. We can still—" "No," Hiruzen interrupted, his voice unwavering despite the weakness in his body. "This is my duty. My burden to bear." He turned to Satria, his gaze sharp and resolute. "Shin, you've shown great strength, but strength alone won't protect the village. Trust in others. Guide them when they falter. And remember, the will of fire burns brightest in those who believe in it." Satria looked away, guilt gnawing at him. "I'm not from this village. I don't even belong in this world. Why tell me this?" Hiruzen smiled faintly. "Because, you care. That's enough." The old Hokage's legs buckled, and he fell to his knees. Jiraiya caught him, tears brimming in his eyes. "Old man!" Jiraiya whispered, his voice breaking. Hiruzen's eyes softened as he looked at his students. "Jiraiya, find Tsunade." She's the one who can lead Konoha now, or you? Jiraiya's lips thinned. Tsunade, are you sure? And I refuse. Hiruzen nodded weakly. Ha ha ha. Of course you refuse, and she's strong. Stronger than she knows. She'll be what the village needs. The third Hokage's head turned slightly toward Satria, his gaze piercing despite his fading strength. And you, don't dwell on what's lost. Look forward. Protect those who can still be saved. With those final words, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, breathed his last. Satria sighed, still nursing a faint sting of regret. What a horrible system. I'm still a bit hurt, damn it. He already knew Kiyohime would scold him later for all of this. On the other side of the battlefield, Esteth stared at her dimensional chat interface with a curious expression. The quest is already marked as complete. It looks like it, Satria replied, his tone tired yet relieved. Esteth raised an eyebrow. Our time here won't last much longer, will it? No, 10 minutes is the limit before we return to our world. Satria admitted, glancing at the sky, his thoughts heavy. Turning to Jiraiya, he added, Old man, before we leave, could you do me a favor? Jiraiya, intrigued, nodded. What is it? Take care of Naruto properly, Satria said, his voice unusually serious. Jiraiya's eyes narrowed slightly. Why? What's your connection to our genin, Uzumaki Naruto? Satria hesitated for a moment, then sighed. I have the power to see fragments of people's futures, old man. Naruto will play a crucial role someday, and he's destined to become a truly great man. Just promise me this, never betray him and teach him Hiraishin technique for God Saki. Jiraiya's expression softened, though curiosity flickered in his eyes. Of course. But why are you telling me this? Satria didn't answer directly but thought grimly, the future's already shifting. And with Denzo still lurking around, things could go horribly wrong. He clenched his fists, suppressing the frustration that bubbled up. That damn man is the root of so many problems in this world. Jiraiya finally broke the silence. Anything else you'd like to ask? Satria nodded, curiosity overtaking his irritation. Yeah, I've always wondered, did Naruto's parents leave him anything? Any inheritance at all? Jiraiya looked surprised but soon nodded. You know about his lineage too, huh? Well, yes, his parents did leave something behind. But... He hesitated, his voice lowering. I was planning to tell him the truth when he turned 17. As for his father's wealth, half of it was used to rebuild the village after the Kyuubi attack. Satria frowned. And why wasn't Naruto given a proper home or a foster family? You could have ensured he had a better life. Jiraiya sighed deeply, his face clouded. The council interfered. Several clans, including the Uchiha and Nara, offered to take him in. I even wanted to raise him myself. But the council feared giving any single clan too much power, especially the Uchiha. Satria's eyes narrowed. The Uchiha? Mikoto Uchiha was his mother's best friend, wasn't she? She was, Jiraiya confirmed. She was the first to step forward to care for him. But the council, they rejected every option and left him to fend for himself. I didn't want him falling into certain hands or worse, becoming a target for other villages once his lineage was revealed. Certain hands. Denso, of course. Satria gritted his teeth, the name igniting a surge of anger. I see, he said finally. A real shame. 10 minutes later. After mending their wounds and resting, the group reconvened at the spot where they'd first arrived. I guess this is goodbye for now, Jiraiya said, a bittersweet smile on his face. Yeah, Satria replied. I've enjoyed my time here. And I'm sorry we couldn't stay for the funerals. Jiraiya shook his head, his grin returning. Don't worry about it. I understand your circumstances. Besides, you and his death saved the village. For that, we're eternally grateful. He bowed deeply, his sincerity evident. As death smirked. No need to thank us. I only joined this group for the promise of more excitement. And this quest didn't disappoint. I'll admit your people fought well. Maybe next time, I'll have to face you in battle. Jiraiya chuckled nervously. I think I'll pass. But still, I owe you both. Satria waved dismissively. If you want to thank me, just take care of that blonde idiot. And maybe send me some of those local cigarettes next time. Surprisingly, the ones here aren't half bad. He grinned. You know what they say, ora hudud, paraparu ora smile. Jiraiya laughed heartily. A delinquent with a baby face like yours? You're full of surprises, Shin-kun. Honestly, you don't look much older than my students, yet you carry yourself like a veteran. Damn reincarnation, Satria grumbled inwardly. Why do I look like a K-pop idol? Even Kiyohime teases me about it. He scowled, but the light enveloping them interrupted his thoughts. The group exchanged final nods as they were bathed in the glowing light. With a flash, they vanished, leaving behind a quiet, grateful village. The light enveloping Satria faded as he returned to his room. He sighed deeply, glancing at the familiar clutter of anime posters, figurines, and merchandise scattered around. I still can't believe the original owner of this body lived like this, he muttered, his eyes landing on a particularly cringe-worthy anime girl poster. With a shake of his head, he grabbed the poster and threw it into a nearby closet, determined to redecorate the space into something less otaku supreme. But first, he sat on the bed, grimacing slightly as his wounds ached. Ah, my body's still hurting. Damn mission, he muttered, tapping open the dimensional chat interface. __. Dimensional chat notification. Mission complete. 6,000 copyright will be shared. 2,000 copyright plus surprise box for Shin. 2,000 copyright plus surprise box for pervert sage. 2,000 copyright plus surprise box for ice sadist. Finally, it's done, Satria sighed. His eyes scanned the shop, curious about what he could buy with his coins. Ultraman Dark Zagi Power, not including wings, cost 150.000. Sword of Emperor of Mankind, cost 220.000. Shadow Monarch, cost 60.000. Frostmourne, cost 115.000. Gate of Babylon, cost 110.000. __. These prices are insane. I need a billionaire sponsor just to buy one thing, Satria muttered, closing the shop. His eyes then wandered to the surprise box he'd received. Curiosity piqued, he tapped to open it. _. Surprise box opened. You have received the gamer system. Description: assists the user in their abilities by creating a system to monitor skills, learn quickly, and level up. Warning: failure to complete system quests will result in punishment. _. Satria froze, glaring at the text. A punishment system? Are you kidding me? He opened the shop again and immediately sold the skill. _. Warning: selling an item only gets you half of its price. You have sold the gamer system. You have received 40,000 copyright. _. As the notification of the sale disappeared, Satria stretched with satisfaction. No way am I letting that thing dictate my life, he muttered. But before he could enjoy the thought, an angry voice boomed inside his head. Fatalis, are you stupid? Why did you sell the gamer system? Satria nearly fell off his bed. He clutched his head, grimacing. Oi, what the hell? You surprised me, and why are you so upset? Fatalis, do you realize what you just threw away? The gamer system could have turned you into the strongest being in any dimension. And you sold it, for coins. Yup, Satria replied nonchalantly, popping a candy into his mouth like it was no big deal. Fatalis, why? Satria smirked and answered in the most childish tone he could muster. Because I don't want some ding-ding sound and an annoying voice telling me what to do. Level up. Quest started. Warning, you failed. Blat. No thanks. The voice groaned, exasperated. Fatalis, you're unbelievable. Do you have any idea how rare the system was? I don't care. Satria declared proudly. I'm not a slave to some stupid system. I'd rather work hard my way than have a glorified AI bossing me around. Fatalis, you're wasting potential. And you're wasting my time. Shoo. Satria waved his hand like he was swatting a fly, ignoring the disembodied grumbling in his mind. Meanwhile, Kiyohime poked her head into the room, looking confused. Dana-sama, who are you talking to? Satria froze, realizing he must have looked insane yelling at thin air. He cleared his throat. Just my inner voice. Sometimes it gets cranky. Kiyohime raised an eyebrow but smiled. Phew. Perhaps your inner voice needs a cup of tea to calm down. Maybe, Satria muttered, shooting a mental glare at the voice still muttering curses in his head. Just as he was about to rest, Kiyohime entered and her eyes widening as she saw him clutching his side. Dana-sama. What happened to you? She rushed to his side, her hands trembling as she gently inspected his wounds. It's nothing serious, just a wound from an adventure, Satria said with a grin, attempting to downplay the pain. Adventure? What kind of adventure gets you hurt like this? Her voice was laced with worry. Satria hesitated but decided it was time to tell her the truth. You might think I'm crazy, but do you want to hear my story? He asked. Kiyohime's eyes softened. Dana-sama, I'll always believe you, no matter what you say. Please, tell me everything. Taking a deep breath, Satria began. I died in my world hit by a truck, of all things. But before I could even reach the afterlife, something grabbed me and tossed me here, into this body and granted me something called as dimensional chat. It feels like some higher beings are watching us for their entertainment. Kiyohime's expression remained calm. And you've been carrying this burden alone. I didn't want to drag you into my problems, Satria admitted, scratching the back of his head. There are powerful forces at play, and I don't want you getting hurt. Kiyohime smiled gently, leaning closer to him. Phew. Do you think so little of me? I don't care what forces we face. You're my Dana-sama. I'll stand by you no matter what. Hearing her unwavering loyalty, Satria's eyes glistened. You're incredible, you know that? Your ex was a fool to lose someone as amazing as you. She chuckled softly. And you're my foolish but lovable husband. I won't let anyone take you away. They spent the next few moments in quiet companionship, with Satria finally relaxing in her presence. But his peace was shattered when he decided to Google something on his phone. Huh? Papua is part of Australia? What the hell is this? He exclaimed, staring at the screen in disbelief. Kiyohime looked over his shoulder. Is something wrong, Dana-sama? Wrong? Everything is wrong. In my world, my country, Indonesia, was united. But here, it's divided into dozens of warring states, and Papua's not even part of it anymore. Kiyohime tilted her head. I've heard of that region. Many conflicts happen there between factions. Is that where you're from? Satria nodded solemnly. Yeah, or at least, I was. It's hard to accept that my homeland is in pieces here. Kiyohime placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. Even if your world is different, you can still make a home here. This is our home now. He smiled at her. You're right. Thanks, Hime. I'll get over it, eventually. She smiled back. Why don't we go out? We need to restock the kitchen anyway, and I'd love to cook something special for you tonight. Satria's face brightened. That sounds great. But let's hide all the otaku stuff in this room first. No way am I letting you think I'm as bad as the guy who owned this body before me. Kiyohime giggled. As you wish, Dana-sama. But no matter what, I'll always think you're amazing. To be continued. Chapter 14, Chapter 14. A new world, a new life, a new love. The piercing sound of an alarm jolted Satria awake. He groaned, glancing at the clock. 6:15 a.m. He rolled over to his right, expecting to see Kiyohime, but her side of the bed was empty. With a sigh, he got up, dragging himself to the bathroom. After a quick shower, he donned the Kyoa Academy uniform. The sight of it in the mirror made him groan again. High school, again? And in an anime world, no less. This feels like some cruel cosmic joke. Satria muttered. He had no interest in reliving high school life, but this was his reality now. Once ready, he descended the stairs. The enticing aroma of freshly cooked food wafted through the air, guiding him to the dining room. There, he stopped in his tracks. Kiyohime stood by the stove, clad in a white apron. Her elegant movements and serene smile made her look like the perfect housewife. Satria found himself staring. Damn, she's adorable, he thought, trying to remain calm, but his playful smile could not be hidden. This is the perfect time. As Kiyohime turned to head to the kitchen, Satria suddenly clapped his hands, startling her. I feel a song coming on, he declared dramatically, striking a pose. Kiyohime blinked, utterly confused. Dana-sama. Satria grinned. Hit it, Kiyohime. He didn't wait for a reply. Instead, he pulled his phone from his pocket, swiped to his playlist, and hit play. The upbeat, jazzy tune of Specialist from Persona 4 burst through the speakers. Without missing a beat, Satria started moving. His steps were clumsy at first, but then he got into the rhythm, twirling and swaying across the living room like a man possessed. His confident smirk stayed plastered on his face as he added exaggerated arm movements to the mix. Dana-sama. What are you doing? Kiyohime exclaimed, hands covering her mouth in shock. But despite her words, a small giggle escaped her lips as she watched his ridiculous moves. He snapped his fingers and pointed to her mid-spin. You, my dear, are my inspiration. He danced over to her, grabbing her hands and spinning her around in an impromptu waltz. Dana-sama, stop. This is embarrassing. Kiyohime protested, her cheeks flushed, but her smile betrayed her amusement. As the song reached its climax, Satria dramatically dropped to one knee, the music fading into the background. He reached into his pocket, pulling out a small, cheap ring, a plain silver band with no embellishments. Kiyohime froze, her eyes widening as she realized what was happening. Kiyohime, Satria began, his voice uncharacteristically serious, I might be a fool dancing like this, but I know one thing for certain. You're the one I want by my side, now and forever. He held up the ring with a cheeky grin. It's not much, but after I graduate or perfectly ready, I'll make this official with a real one. Will you be patient with me until then? Kiyohime stared at him, her mouth slightly open, utterly speechless. Her face turned crimson as she tried to form a coherent response. Dana-sama. What this is, she stammered, her hands fluttering nervously by her sides. Satria smirked at her reaction, slipping the ring onto her finger before she could protest. So, what do you say, my lovely housewife in training? Kiyohime finally found her voice, though it was shaky. Why yes. I'll wait, Dana-sama, but what was all of that, she asked, still trying to process the whirlwind of events. Satria stood, dusting off his knees and stretching. Just adding a bit of flair to our love story, he replied nonchalantly. Now, how about we eat? All that dancing made me hungry. Kiyohime could only sigh, a hand pressed to her blushing face. Stupid Dana-sama! She muttered, though her smile was one of pure happiness. As Satria sat down at the dining table, he stared at the meal Kiyohime had prepared. The arrangement was flawless: steaming rice, golden brown tamagoyaki, grilled fish, and a side of miso soup. Everything looked perfect, but his eyes lingered cautiously over the soup and fish. He picked up the spoon instead of the chopsticks laid beside his plate. Chopsticks had never been his forte, and he figured he'd focus on surviving breakfast rather than struggling to eat gracefully. Kiyohime noticed his hesitation and tilted her head, her expression soft but curious. Is something wrong, Dana-sama? Does the food not suit your taste? Satria shook his head quickly. No, it looks amazing, Kiyohime. It's just... He hesitated, his gaze dropping to the miso soup. I just want to make sure there's no pork or anything like that. Kiyohime's eyes widened slightly before softening with understanding. Ah, I see. She walked closer and gently placed a hand on his shoulder. Don't worry, Dana-sama. I made sure everything is safe for you to eat. No pork, no alcohol, and nothing else that is prohibited in your beliefs. Satria exhaled a small sigh of relief, giving her a grateful smile. Thank you, Kiyohime. It's been a bit of a struggle here. Everywhere I go, there's always something banned in my religion: pork broth in ramen, bacon on sandwiches, even snacks made with lard. It's hard to adjust sometimes. Kiyohime's expression turned serious. I understand, Dana-sama. I will make it my priority to ensure you never have to worry about your meals. Satria blinked, touched by her dedication. You really went that far for me. Of course, she said, her voice firm but warm. You are my Dana-sama, and it's my duty to take care of you. Your happiness and comfort matter to me. A small chuckle escaped Satria. You're amazing, Kiyohime. Honestly, I don't know what I'd do without you. Her cheeks flushed a faint pink, but she quickly turned away to hide it. It's nothing, Dana-sama. Now, eat before your food gets cold. Satria nodded and dug into the meal with newfound ease. The taste was as incredible as ever, each bite filled with care and love. As he finished his soup, he looked up at her again. Seriously, Kiyohime? If you keep treating me like this, I'll have no choice but to keep you by my side forever. Her blush deepened, and she fidgeted with the edge of her apron. Dana-sama, you already made that clear with the ring. True, he said with a grin. But you deserve to hear it every day. Kiyohime covered her face with her hands, her voice muffled. Stupid Dana-sama. After finishing breakfast, he grabbed his bag, ready to leave for school. Before he could step out, Kiyohime approached him, holding out two items, a small piece of paper and a bento box. What's this? He asked, inspecting the paper covered in kanji. This is a seal to suppress your energy so the supernatural won't notice you. And this is your bento, Dana-sama, she explained. He opened the bento box slightly, catching a glimpse of the neatly arranged food. His heart swelled with appreciation. Kiyohime, he began, his tone softening. You know, back in my world, I was popular, but I never found anyone I truly cared about. But with you. He dropped to one knee, taking her hand in his. Allow me to become your future husband. You've proposed to me before, and you're doing it again. Kiyohime's face turned red. Satria smirked. I'm not your typical man, dear. When I know what I want, I don't waste time. A voice echoed in his mind. Fatalis, you realize this means Kiyohime will never let you go, right? Her lore practically guarantees it. I know. I don't regret it. She's perfect for me, someone who loves me without any ulterior motive. Only an idiot would let go of a woman like her. Kia-him's eyes shimmered with emotion. Yes, Dana-sama. Now hurry, or you'll be late for school, she said, trying to mask her embarrassment with practicality. Satria stood, kissed her hand, and smiled. Thank you, Kiyohime. I'll see you later. Stupid Dana-sama, she whispered with a happy smile as he left. Kyoah Academy. Kyoah, Japan. Satria stood before the legendary high school. His partner's voice sounded in his mind. Fatalis, careful, brother. I sense at least 10 beings here that aren't human. Noted. But I'll keep my head down. Once I'm graduate from this school, I'm leaving this city. Satria wanted nothing to do with the demons and their twisted methods. Their obsession with pride and power disgusted him. As he walked closer, he noticed the stares. Students whispered and giggled as he passed. Oh no! Please, no fangirls, he groaned internally. Who is he? He's so handsome. Is that his natural hair color? Ugh, another pretty boy. Curse you! This world is insane, Satria thought. I'm not even doing anything, and they're already acting like predators. The black dragon chuckled. Fatalis, you're used to this, though. Remember when you won that tournament back in your world? That was different, Satria retorted, quickening his pace. As he entered the school gates, he sighed. Here we go, another boring school life. To be continued. Chapter 15, Chapter 15. From Shadow to Innovation. As Satria wandered through the academy, searching for his class, he couldn't ignore the sound of footsteps trailing behind him. He groaned internally. I really hope this doesn't become an everyday thing. Where's the culture of minding your own business? Damn it, this isn't Japan. Finally finding his classroom, he knocked on the door. Enter, a calm voice called from inside. When Satria stepped in, the reaction was immediate. The girls in the room blushed and whispered excitedly, while most of the boys glared daggers at him. Satria smirked as his gaze landed on 3 particular boys. Their perverse, awestruck expressions told him everything. Wow, just wow, he thought, staring at the infamous perverted trio. Fatalis, brother, is that the Oppai dragon? Satria glanced at the average-looking boy with brown hair who was glaring at him. Yep, that's him. The teacher cleared her throat, snapping Satria out of his thoughts. We have a transfer student today. Please introduce yourself. Before he could speak, a chorus of squeals erupted from the girls. Kya! So handsome and cute. Do you have a girlfriend? Can I have your number? Look at his hair, so exotic. How about a date after class? Satria's sweat dropped. Seriously? Women in this world must have a screw loose. Ahem. The teacher's voice cut through the noise. Let him speak. Satria took a deep breath, his expression deadpan. My name is Shidou Matsumi, but you can call me Shin. I'm 16. My hobbies are none of your business. My dreams are none of your business either. Oh, and I have a girlfriend. Thanks. The room fell silent for a moment. Then. Ah, what a shame. But if there's no ring, it's not official. His mysterious vibe is even hotter. Satria sighed. What the heck? These women seriously don't care about boundaries, do they? Fatalis, brother, are you secretly aiming to become a harem king? It is the DxD world, after all. Absolutely not, Satria snapped. My mom and Kiyohime would kill me if I tried. Fatalis, if you change your mind, let me know. Wait, what? Fatalis, nothing. The teacher pointed to an empty seat. Shin-kun, you can sit beside Issei. As Satria moved to his seat, a bespectacled girl called out, "Careful, Shin-kun. Don't let him infect you with his pervertedness." "Yet, he's bad news," another girl added. Satria couldn't help but smirk. "Poor guy. Hang in there, Issei." When he reached the desk, Issei smiled nervously. "Hey, I'm Hyudo Issei. Nice to meet you." Satria extended his hand. "Just call me Shin." "Nice to meet you too." The handshake was firm, and Satria nodded to himself. He's not a bad guy. Sure, he's perverted, but he's got heart. Reminds me of a certain sage. Fatalis, true. He's leagues better than those who force themselves on others. I'll make sure you don't turn into an emo bore, either. The teacher's voice brought everyone back to reality. All right, back to work. Back to torture, you mean, Satria thought wryly. After school in Kuah town, Satria strolled into a small electronics supply store, his basket already heavy with various components, capacitors, circuit boards, lithium cells, wiring, and other advanced materials. The faint scent of solder and metal filled the air as the shop owner, Mr. Yamamoto, a grizzled old man with sharp eyes, watched curiously from behind the counter. As Satria set his items down, the older man raised an eyebrow. Well, well. That's quite the haul you've got there, kid. Don't see many young folks interested in this kind of stuff. What's all this for? A school project, maybe? Satria shook his head, his voice steady. Not exactly. Just working on something for myself. For yourself, hey? Mr. Yamamoto began scanning the items, pausing occasionally to inspect the high-quality components. These parts aren't cheap, and some of this stuff is pretty advanced. What are you making, if you don't mind me asking? A better energy storage system, a more efficient battery, Satria replied casually, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. The shopkeeper paused, staring at the boy. A better battery? Ambitious. Most kids your age are too busy with phones, porn, and games to even think about this sort of thing. He smirked. What got you into it? Satria shrugged, his tone neutral but resolute. I like solving problems. There's a lot of room for improvement in how we store and use energy. If I can make something that lasts longer, charges faster, and costs less, it could help a lot of people. The old man chuckled, shaking his head. Big dreams for a kid. But you're biting off more than you can chew, aren't you? Building a working prototype isn't as simple as snapping parts together, you know. For a moment, Satria didn't reply. Instead, he glanced at the rows of components, his mind drifting. Unlike my previous world, I'm in a relatively safe environment here. But even so, I don't have anyone to rely on but myself, Fatalis, and Kiyohime. If I'm going to make a life here, I need to work for it. No shortcuts, no excuses. At least the skills I learned before are useful now. And Japan, it's the perfect place to innovate. He returned his gaze to Mr. Yamamoto, a faint smile playing on his lips. Watch me. I'll surprise you someday. The shopkeeper let out a hearty laugh. All right, kid. I'll hold you to that. Just don't blow anything up in the meantime, all right? No promises, Satria quipped, paying for the items and gathering his haul. As he left the shop, the sunlight glinting off the glass storefront, Satria felt a surge of determination. Every great project starts small. Let's see how far I can push myself this time. Next, he is walking past a music store. Satria paused. Maybe I'll pick up a guitar. It'll give me something to do in my free time. Inside, the shopkeeper greeted him warmly. Welcome. What can I help you with? Do you have a Gibson J200? Of course. Give me a moment. While waiting, Satria sat down and scanned the shop. Maybe I should start a YouTube channel for cooking. Or sell Jiraiya's books. These perverts would eat that up. The shopkeeper returned, holding the guitar. Here you go. Try it out. Satria strummed a few chords, playing a nostalgic tune from his world. Fatalis, damn. You're good at this, brother. Play more often and I want to request a song. After making the purchase, Satria left the store, carrying the guitar on his back. He spotted Rias Gremory walking by, her face twisted in frustration. She looks pissed. Must be KFC-related drama, he thought with a smirk, avoiding any unnecessary interaction. When Satria finally returned home, he opened the door to find Kiyohime waiting for him in a naked apron. Welcome home, Dana-sama. Do you want dinner, a bath, or... What is all this, Dana-sama? She asked, her tone a mix of concern and curiosity. Satria smirked and pulled a small box from one of the bags. Before I explain, here. He handed her the box, which contained a neatly wrapped matcha cake. Kiyohime blinked, momentarily distracted by the thoughtful gesture. You brought this, for me? She asked softly, her cheeks tinged with pink. Of course. I figured you'd like it, Satria said with a grin. Her lips curved into a small smile, but she quickly composed herself, shaking her head as she glanced back at the array of items he'd purchased. But, Dana-sama, you spent too much money. We should be using our funds wisely. What if we run out? Satria leaned back against the wall, arms crossed, his smirk unwavering. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure we're more than comfortable soon. Kiyohime frowned slightly, still unconvinced. How? These things, she gestured to the pile of components, look expensive. What are you planning to do with them? Satria's expression turned confident as he picked up a small circuit board from the table. I'm going to build something. Something that can help us earn more money and maybe even change the game a little in this world. Kiyohime raised an eyebrow. Change the game? You're always so mysterious, Dana-sama. Are you sure this isn't just another one of your odd hobbies? Satria chuckled. Odd hobbies, hey? Trust me on this one. I've got a plan, and it's not just about survival. It's about thriving. Besides, he added with a teasing glint in his eye, you'll thank me when we can afford all the matcha cakes you want. Kiyohime sighed, shaking her head again, though the corners of her lips twitched upward. Fine. But I'll hold you to your word, Dana-sama. And don't think cake will distract me every time you make reckless decisions. Noted, Satria said, giving her a playful salute before setting the bags down. As Kiyohime unwrapped her matcha cake and watched Satria sort through his materials, she felt a quiet confidence in his words. He's unpredictable and frustrating sometimes, but I trust him. To be continued. Chapter 16, Chapter 16. Between webs and snow. The small workspace Satria had set up in their shared home was already cluttered with tools and components. The sound of soft clicks and faint hums filled the air as he soldered wires onto a circuit board. His focus was intense, his brow furrowed in concentration as he carefully assembled the pieces of his latest design. The desk was littered with sketches and blueprints, some half-finished and others covered in notes and calculations. Despite the mess, there was a method to his madness. Each piece had its purpose, each wire its place. Habibi, he asked, raising an eyebrow. You mean B.J. Habibie, the third president of Indonesia? Fatalis, yes, him. I dug through your memories. Fascinating man. He was like you, always tinkering with machines and ideas. But what stuck with me was how romantic he was. His love for his wife, Ainun, was so pure and enduring. It reminded me of how you are with Kiyohime. Satria smirked, leaning back in his chair. Romantic, hey? Not sure I'd put myself in the same league as Habibie. The guy built airplanes and was a national hero. I'm just trying to make sure Kiyohime and I can live comfortably in this world. Fatalis, oh, don't sell yourself short, brother. You might not be building airplanes yet, but you've got the same spark. Satria rolled his eyes but couldn't hide the small grin tugging at his lips. And the sometimes silly part? Where's that coming from? Fatalis, don't think I didn't see you doing something weird like that dance or the way you tried to look serious after Kiyohime caught you blushing. Face it, you have a silly side, puppy. He sighed, shaking his head with a soft chuckle. All right, fine. I'll take the comparison as a compliment, but don't call me a puppy. A sudden notification broke his concentration. Dimensional chat notification. He paused, wiping his hands on a cloth, and opened the chat. __. Ding. Spider-Man joined chat. Ding. A silver-haired half-elf joined chat. Pervert Sage, welcome, new members. Evil Spirit, Aira welcome. Man with Gender Equality, welcome. Spider-Man, what's going on? Is this some kind of prank? A weird screen just popped up in front of me. Silver-haired half-elf, Excuse me, but can someone explain what this is? Shin, this isn't a prank. This is a dimensional chat, an interdimensional network where people from different worlds can talk, share, and even help each other. Spider-Man, wait, what? So all of you are from different worlds? Silver-haired half-elf, that's fascinating. My name is Emilia. It's nice to meet everyone. Pervert Sage, another girl, hi? He. Evil Spirit, Emilia, just a heads up, stay cautious around at Pervert and his disciples Kazuma. They're bad news for women. Pervert Sage, hey. Man with Gender Equality, we're not that bad. Take that back. Shin, yes, Spider-Man. We're all from different worlds. Oh, and this group has some cool features. For example, if a crisis occurs in your world, it can generate quests for us to help you. There's also a shop where you can buy things using coins and a camera for live streaming events. Spider-Man, wait, coins? How do we earn those? Silver-haired half-elf, I'd like to know that too. Shin, you can get coins by clearing quests or through daily logins. Simple enough, right? And yes, Peter Parker, I know who you are. Spider-Man, well, how do you know my real name? Shin, I have my ways. If you ever need help, just let me know. I might be able to assist. Peter Parker, hey? The so-called friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. A genius, no doubt. With a little nudge, he could be something more. But how do I get him to see it? He tapped the edge of the table thoughtfully. His gaze moved to a mock-up of an energy core he'd been working on. He's driven by responsibility, always putting others first. Classic hero type. If I can frame this as something bigger, something that could protect not just his world but others too, he won't be able to resist. I just need the right angle. He leaned forward, resting his elbows on the desk. But what do I really need from him? His scientific mind? His access to tech? No, it's his perspective. The way he thinks about people and problems. I've always been a builder, a solver, but Peter, he's a protector. Together, we could create something that's more than just machines. Something meaningful. Satria's eyes narrowed as a new idea sparked in his mind. An interdimensional stabilizer, maybe? A device to monitor and seal dimensional rifts. It'd give us an early warning system against threats no one else can see coming. And with Peter's knack for building compact, efficient tech, we could make it practical. He chuckled softly, shaking his head. Still, getting him on board won't be easy. He's cautious. Trust won't come quickly. I'll have to show him the potential without overwhelming him. His smirk widened. Maybe start small and upgrade for his web shooters. Something he can use right away. Let him see what we can do together. Fatalis, Ha ha ha. Of all the new members in that chat, any normal guy would be tripping over themselves to focus on Emilia. Maybe even try to steal her away from this Subaru guy. But you? You've got your eyes locked on Peter Parker. Honestly, you're something else. Satria smirked, his fingers drumming lightly on the table. Peter's the key to something bigger, Fatalis. Emilia's nice and all, but what am I going to do? Sit around and flirt? That's not my style. Peter's potential could help me achieve something real, something tangible. _ Both Spider-Man and Emilia check the group's livestream history. Spider-Man, no way, at Pervert Sage, you're a ninja. Pervert Sage, yup. My world is full of ninjas. Silver-haired half-elf, what's a ninja? Shin, think of them as warriors or spies, operating in shadows. They're like mercenaries, hired to complete jobs for a price. Silver-haired half-elf, are they bad people? Pervert Sage. Ice sadist, we've got an innocent one here, don't we? Shin, it's not that simple. There are good and bad ninjas, just like any profession. They'll do whatever it takes to complete their mission, whether it's protecting someone or, the opposite. Silver-haired half-elf, so, at Pervert Sage, are you a good ninja? Pervert Sage, haha, let's just say my past isn't spotless enough to call me good. I've done things I'm not proud of. Spider-Man, you've killed people, haven't you? Pervert Sage, my hands are stained with the blood of enemies and innocents alike. It's not something I like to talk about. Spider-Man, why? Killing is wrong. Shin, Spider-Man, don't judge him so quickly. Your world isn't all sunshine and rainbows either. Think about the crimes your own country has committed in the name of justice. It's not so different. Spider-Man, I didn't think of it that way. Maybe I've been too naive. Shin, let's drop that topic for now. Emilia, have you met a man with strange clothes in your world? Silver-haired half-elf, strange clothes? No, I don't think so. Who are you talking about? Shin, a guy named Subaru. Does that name ring a bell? Silver-haired half-elf, no, I've never heard of him. Should I? Shin, not necessarily. Just let us know if you ever meet him. Silver-haired half-elf, well, I would like, and may I change my nickname? It's too long. Shin, sure. Go to the profile settings and press change nickname. __. Satria leaning back in his chair. So Emilia and Subaru haven't crossed paths yet, hey, he mused to himself, tapping his fingers on the desk. Well, I nominate Lord Kazuma as Subhadran's successor. He'd make a perfect ruler, probably. Fatalis, ha ha ha. Why not you? Satria smirked, shaking his head. Malice, he replied, leaning forward again, plus, there's way too much patience needed for Gotham Asylum levels of insanity. I'm not about to deal with that headache. _ Shin, by the way, what did you both get from the surprise box? Pervert Sage, I got an extra coin from it. Now I can buy something useful to inspire my writing. Shin, I already regret asking. Evil spirit, idiot and perverts. Ice sadist, I received a new ability called Inferno of Fire. Apparently, it's magic used by someone named Valier. Do you know anything about it? Shin, Valier. That's from another world I know about. So now you control both fire and ice, hey? Have you thought about combining them? Ice sadist, combining fire and ice? Is that even possible? Shin, nothing's impossible. Imagine creating zones of extreme temperature, freezing one moment, incinerating the next. That's just theory, though. You'll have to figure out the details. Ice sadist, interesting. Thanks for the suggestion, Shin. I'll give it a try. Fatalis, ha ha ha. Are you seriously trying to turn us death into Jakiro? A walking embodiment of fire and ice? I almost feel bad for Night Raid almost. This is pure insanity. Satria smirked as he leaned back in his chair, tapping his pencil against the edge of his desk. What can I say? Innovation breeds chaos. As death already has the ice side down, giving her fire is just balance. Fatalis, balance? Don't kid yourself. You're making her a force of destruction. I can already see her freezing and incinerating entire battlefields while cackling like a maniac. Night Raid's going to have nightmares, and it's all your fault. Let's just pray someone out there can actually tame her. Maybe even bring down the current empire and put her on the throne instead. She'd make a terrifying ruler, but at least she'd be focused on empire building instead of endless carnage. Fatalis, ha! Tame her? Good luck with that, brother. That woman's idea of romance involves bloodshed and absolute domination. Whoever steps up to that challenge better be ready to lose their sanity or their life. Satria stared at the screen, the list of items on sale giving him a sense of both excitement and confusion. He could feel his mind racing, trying to make a decision with the limited time remaining. The sale was tempting, but which item was worth his hard-earned coins? Big sale. 168 hours remaining. Stand, Star Platinum 20.000 Phase 2, Stop Time, 25.000. Devil Fruit, Nico Nico no Mi, Leopard 7500 Awakening 12,000. Unlocked Chakra, Chuyunin Level 4000. Sword Technique, Breath of Thunder 4000. Lightsaber 10,000. Excalibur Mimic 3500. Ring of Aquila 2500. Limited Edition Porn, 18 plus 2500. Satria frowned, shaking his head. Why the hell does a porn book have almost the same price as Excalibur Mimic, he muttered. The fact that such a ridiculous item could even be listed alongside legendary equipment like Excalibur was absurd. He had to remind himself that the world he was in was anything but normal. His eyes drifted back to the other items. Star Platinum. That stand ability was tempting, especially if it had the power to stop time. It could be the key to gaining an edge in battles or even just getting ahead in life. But was it worth all those coins? He'd need to gather more information about it before making a decision. The same went for the Devil Fruit, the Nico Nico no Mi Leopard. He could already imagine the power it would grant, but it would take time to master. Then there was the Breath of Thunder, a sword technique that could be useful in combat, or the lightsaber, which would undoubtedly be an excellent weapon in any scenario. But as much as he liked the idea of having a lightsaber, he wasn't sure it was what he needed at the moment. He sighed and glanced at the timer. 168 hours remaining, plenty of time to think, but also not enough if I miss the opportunity. Maybe I'll just save my money for the next big sale. Or at least until I can get more info, he mused, scrolling past the items again. But then, what if something even better comes along? There's no re-rolling, this sale could be my one chance. Dana-sama. The soft voice startled him. He looked up to see Kiyohime standing in the doorway, holding a tray with a steaming cup of tea and a small plate of snacks. She tilted her head, her expression a mix of curiosity and mild disapproval as she took in the chaotic scene. Kiyohime. Satria straightened up, wiping his hands on a cloth. What's up? She stepped into the room, carefully avoiding the scattered wires on the floor. I was wondering where you disappeared to, Dana-sama. You've been here for hours without a break. She set the tray down on a clear corner of the desk. I got caught up in the work, he admitted, rubbing the back of his neck. This is important. If it works, it could change everything for us. Kiyohime's eyes scanned the table, lingering on the half-finished circuit board. What are you making? Satria picked up the prototype and held it up. It's an advanced energy storage unit, a battery, but way more efficient than anything on the market. If I can perfect this, it'll be a game changer. She frowned slightly. You're always thinking about the future, aren't you? But what about your present? Skipping meals and overworking yourself isn't healthy. He gave her a small grin. I'll be fine. Besides, this is for us. I don't want to rely on anyone else. I want to build something that makes our lives better. Kiyohime sighed, sitting down on a nearby chair. You're stubborn, Dana-sama, but I suppose that's one of the reasons I... Her voice trailed off as she averted her gaze, her cheeks tinged pink. Satria raised an eyebrow, smirking. One of the reasons you what? She quickly stood up, flustered. And nothing. Just drink your tea before it gets cold. She crossed her arms and turned her back to him, muttering under her breath. Satria chuckled, taking a sip of the tea she brought. Thanks, Kiyohime. I'll try to take better care of myself. You'd better, she said firmly, though her tone was softer now. I'll leave you to your work. Just don't forget that you're not alone anymore, Dana-sama. As she left the room, Satria leaned back in his chair, her words echoing in his mind. He glanced at the prototype in his hands, a determined smile forming on his lips. Not alone, hey? Guess I'd better make this count. With renewed focus, he returned to his work, the sound of tools and the faint hum of machinery filling the room once again. To be continued. Chapter 17, Chapter 17. Devil's Game, Chain of Freedom. Kiyohime stood at the edge of the backyard, her golden eyes fixed on her Dana-sama. Satria was doing push-ups with remarkable precision, his body glistening lightly from the morning training session. What caught her attention, however, was not just his effort but the fact he was balancing his entire weight on a single finger. With each motion, his muscles flexed and rippled under his skin, already showing signs of improvement from his rigorous training. Though he often grumbled about his body's lack of strength compared to his original body, Kiyohime couldn't help but marvel at his determination. 196, 197. 198, he muttered between breaths, his voice steady despite the strain. Kiyohime felt her cheeks grow warm as she continued to watch him, her gaze drawn to the way his muscles moved like a well-tuned machine. He's so charming, my Dana-sama is incredible, she thought, placing a hand on her flushed cheek. Unable to contain herself any longer, she stepped closer, holding a tray with a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice. Dana-sama, here's some juice. Please take a break. Satria paused mid-push-up, balancing effortlessly as he looked up at her with a warm smile. Thanks, dear, he said before flipping to his feet in one smooth motion. Kiyohime's blush deepened as he approached. Even with the sweat on his brow, he carried an air of confidence that made her heart race. She handed him the glass, careful not to let her fingers linger, though she secretly wanted to. You're staring, Satria teased, taking a long sip. Am I not allowed to admire my husband? Kiyohime shot back, pouting slightly, though her cheeks remained flushed. You're not just admiring. You're mesmerized, he replied with a grin, flexing his arm playfully. Her blush turned crimson. Baka Dana-sama. Stop teasing me, she huffed, turning away to hide her face. Satria chuckled, setting the glass down and pulling her into a gentle hug from behind. I can't help it. You're too cute when you blush. Kiyohime's heart fluttered as she leaned into his embrace. Dana-sama, you always know how to make me feel special. Fatalis, not bad, brother. Some improvement in your stamina. Satria smirked weakly. You think so? That's good to hear. Thanks to the seals Kiyohime had placed around the mansion, the supernatural could no longer easily detect them. Even so, Satria knew the importance of remaining vigilant. He sat up, determination lighting his eyes. If I could evolve Fatalis with the survive card, that'd be even better, but... How? Power was everything in this world. Without it, he couldn't protect his newfound family from those who sought to harm them. You're thinking too much again, dear, Kiyohime observed, tilting her head slightly. Yet, he admitted, running a hand through his hair. I was thinking about how to get stronger. Just don't push yourself too hard. Her concern was evident in her voice, but there was also pride. She admired his resolve. Kiyohime, do you have experience with weapons? He asked suddenly. I do. Why? Want to spar? Her lips curled into a playful smile. Sure, but you'll have to take me out into the city afterward. Deal. She summoned her naginata with an effortless flourish. It's a date, then, he said, grinning. The sun hung high in the sky, illuminating the open field behind the mansion. The wind carried the faint scent of cherry blossoms, but the serene atmosphere was shattered by the sound of clashing metal. Standing on opposite sides of the backyard, Satria and Kiyohime faced each other with intense focus. Satria, now clad in his Kamen Rider Calamity form, exuded an aura of power and danger. His dark, draconic armor gleamed ominously under the sunlight, and the piercing red eyes of his helmet glowed like embers. The blade of his drag saber was at the ready, reflecting his battle-hardened determination. Kiyohime, on the other hand, was a vision of grace and fury. She held her naginata with practiced ease, the blade glinting with an eerie blue light. Azure flames danced along its edge, a manifestation of her spiritual energy, mirroring her fiery resolve. Her yellow eyes locked onto Satria's crimson visor, unwavering and sharp. Ready when you are, Danasama, Kiyohime said, a playful yet challenging smile on her lips. Don't hold back, Kiyohime, Satria replied, his voice distorted slightly by the Calamity suit's vocal modulator. Show me what you've got. Kiyohime surged forward first, her naginata trailing streaks of blue flames. She spun the weapon with incredible speed, launching a flurry of precise, sweeping strikes. Satria parried the first few with his drag saber, sparks flying as metal met metal. Her speed was overwhelming, each strike blending seamlessly into the next. He ducked under a wide swing and countered with a slash aimed at her side, but Kiyohime deftly twirled her naginata, deflecting the blow with the staff's reinforced pole. Impressive as always, Satria muttered, retreating a few steps. Kiyohime smirked. You're not bad yourself, dear. But you're still too slow. With a burst of energy, Kiyohime dashed forward, her naginata thrusting toward Satria's chest. He barely managed to sidestep, the tip of her weapon grazing his armor and leaving a faint scorch mark. That's enough for today. You're amazing, Kiyohime, Satria said, deactivating his calamity armor. You're not so bad yourself, Danasama, she replied, leaning on her naginata. But don't think I'll go easy on you next time. Satria chuckled. Looking forward to it. After a sparring session that left Satria thoroughly humbled and their bodies cleaned, the couple prepared to head out. Sorry for the wait, Danasama, Kiyohime said softly as she emerged, dressed in casual attire. Satria froze, his eyes locked on her. The slim fit of her clothes, her flowing white hair, and her sunflower yellow eyes left him spellbound. You're stunning, he managed, his voice tinged with awe. Don't look at me like that, Danasama, she murmured, her cheeks turning crimson as she shyly avoided his gaze. You're beautiful, he said, his tone sincere. So sweet you could give someone a sugar high. Baka Danasama, Kiyohime whispered, burying her face into his chest to hide her flustered expression. Satria grinned, stroking her silky hair. I'll never let go of her. Never. Shopping district. Kyoto, Japan. Hand in hand, the couple strolled through the bustling streets. Their chemistry was palpable, drawing glances from passers-by. Ah, young love these days, an elderly woman remarked. That boy's really something, said another. Is he a foreign model or something? He is so cute and handsome. Satria sighed. Cute. Again? I can't escape this. Fatalis, well, you are cute, brother. Not you too. Where to, Kiyohime? He asked, eager to know what interested her. Before Kiyohime could answer, a familiar face appeared. Yo, Shin-san. Whoa, who's this beauty? Issei Hyudo greeted them enthusiastically. Satria smirked and put a hand on Kiyohime's shoulder. She's my girlfriend. Before he could finish, Kiyohime cut him off, stepping forward with a stern but graceful expression. Correction, Danasama, she said, her melodic voice ringing with authority. I am not your girlfriend. Satria smiling playfully. Hey? Then what are you? Kiyohime turned to Issei, her hands clasped together as she smiled warmly. I am his wife. Really? Issei's jaw dropped even further, and a couple walking by stopped mid-stride, whispering excitedly. Of course, Kiyohime said, giving him a look that suggested the matter was non-negotiable. After all, I've already pledged my undying love to you, Danasama. A mere girlfriend title doesn't do justice to our bond. Issei staggered back, looking at Satria with disbelief. Dude, you're married. Since when? And why didn't you tell anyone? It's complicated, Satria muttered, scratching the back of his head. Kiyohime leaned closer to him, wrapping her arms around his and resting her head on his shoulder. There's nothing complicated about love, Danasama. And I will always stand by your side as your wife. Satria sighed but couldn't help the small smile creeping onto his face. Well, I guess you heard it straight from her. She's my wife, Issei. Issei groaned, rubbing his temples. First you bag a stunning girl like her, and now you tell me you're married? Life's not fair, man. Kiyohime tilted her head curiously. Is something troubling you, Hyudo-san? Issei waved his hands frantically. And no, nothing. Just, congrats, you two. Really? He quickly excused himself, muttering something about having contracts to deliver. He's a devil, isn't he? Kiyohime asked, her tone sharper. He is. A new one, and the host of Boosted Gear, Satria explained. Kiyohime's expression darkened briefly. Devils, they're as manipulative as ever. They once tried to force me into a peerage. What did you do? She smiled faintly. Refused. And made sure they didn't bother me again. Satria's jaw tightened. That's unforgivable, I'll give them a lesson and warning one day. Forget them, Danasama. Let's enjoy our date, she said, looping her arm through his. Later that evening. The couple's perfect day took a dark turn when they sensed a sinister presence. They followed it to an abandoned building, finding a grotesque stray devil feasting on human corpses. Ara ara, such delectable visitors, the creature hissed, eyeing them hungrily. It wasn't long before they stumbled upon the horrific sight: mangled human corpses littered across the floor, their lifeless faces frozen in expressions of terror. And amidst the carnage, a grotesque creature feasted hungrily. The being had the torso of a human but a monstrous, spider-like lower body. Its many limbs twitched erratically as it turned its face toward them, sharp teeth gleaming under the dim light. What the hell is that? Satria asked, his voice low but tense as he instinctively stepped forward, shielding Kiyohime. Kiyohime remained calm, her yellow eyes narrowing. It's a stray devil, she answered. Her tone was steady, but there was a subtle edge to it, as if she held nothing but disdain for the creature. A stray devil? Satria raised an eyebrow. A demon pawn that defected from its master, Kiyohime explained. When a devil servant rebels or refuses to follow orders, they become hunted. But before they are found, many go mad, consumed by their own hunger or instincts. This is the result. Satria frowned deeply, crossing his arms. So it's either obey or die for them, hey. Correct, Kiyohime said, her voice tinged with bitterness. Devils consider their servants mere tools. If they stray from their intended purpose, they are discarded violently. Satria clicked his tongue in frustration, his fists tightening. That's the kind of crap I can't stand. Kiyohime tilted her head curiously. What do you mean, Danasama? Same old story, Satria muttered, his tone filled with irritation. Even humans aren't much better than devils when it comes to this. People in power treat others like disposable pawns, all for their own gain. The difference? Humans wrap it up in politics or pretend it's for the greater good. He clenched his jaw, his mind flashing to bitter memories. It's the same with those bastards, political assholes, all of them. It's not the people I hate, it's the ones in charge. They sit on their thrones and play chess with people's lives like they're just pieces on a board. No real difference between them and devils if you ask me. Kiyohime watched him in silence for a moment before speaking. You're not wrong, Danasama. That's why I stay by your side. You are not like them. You see the world as it is and refuse to be a part of their games. Her words brought a small smirk to Satria's face. Yet, but seeing this mess just reminds me why I need to get stronger. If I can't protect the people I care about, then what's the point? Their conversation was interrupted by the stray devil, which suddenly growled, glaring at them with bloodshot eyes. Ara, what's this? A pair of intruders interrupting my meal, the creature hissed, a sinister grin spreading across its warped face. Oh my, what a handsome little morsel you are, boy. Maybe I'll play with you before I devour you. Satria rolled his eyes. Yeah, no thanks. Kiyohime stepped forward, her expression blank and terrifying. A blue flame ignited around her, illuminating the dark room with an eerie glow. Her naginata materialized in her hands, its blade gleaming menacingly. You dare lay your filthy eyes on Danasama, she said coldly. You've made your final mistake, stray. The stray devil hissed and launched a glob of sticky webbing toward them, but Kiyohime swung her naginata effortlessly, incinerating the attack mid-air with her flames. The stray devil's twisted form lay slumped on the ground, blue flames licking at her tattered body. Her grotesque spider legs were charred and motionless, and her human face was streaked with dirt and blood. Satria wiped the sweat from his brow, his breathing heavy. That was tougher than I thought. He glanced at Kiyohime, whose naginata still blazed with her otherworldly flames. Are you all right, Danasama? She asked, her tone soft but laced with concern. Yeah, I'm fine, he said, catching his breath. You're the one who did all the heavy lifting. Before Kiyohime could reply, a faint, trembling voice interrupted them. Please, kill me. The couple turned toward the stray, whose bloodshot eyes glistened with tears. Her monstrous body shuddered, and she tried weakly to lift herself. What? Satria frowned, taking a cautious step closer. Kill me, the stray repeated, her voice breaking. I don't want to live like this anymore. I just wanted to be free. Kiyohime tilted her head, her flames dimming slightly. Explain yourself. Why did you betray your master and become a stray? The stray let out a bitter laugh, coughing as she struggled to speak. Betrayed? Betrayed him? That bastard took everything from me, my family, my life. I was just a normal girl before he turned me into this thing. Her words sent a chill down Satria's spine. He knelt beside her, his gaze softening despite the disgust he felt toward her monstrous form. What happened? She closed her eyes, tears streaming down her cheeks. I was forced into his service, ripped away from my family. At first, I obeyed. I thought if I did what he asked, maybe he'd let me go one day. But no matter how much I served, all he gave me was pain. When I tried to escape, he punished me. The only way out was to become this, a stray. Her voice cracked with anguish. But strays can't survive without devouring humans. I never wanted to hurt anyone, but the hunger, it takes over. Now I'm nothing but a monster. Satria clenched his fists, his jaw tight. He could see the raw pain in her eyes, the desperation of someone who had been utterly broken by the world. You just wanted freedom, he muttered, bitterness lacing his words. Fatalist, how sad she should have asked America's daddy for that, but unfortunately she has no oil. She nodded weakly. But there's no freedom for someone like me. Not anymore. Please, end this. End me. Kia-him's expression remained unreadable, but the flames on her naginata reignited, casting a cold light over the room. Dana-sama, what should we do? He stood up, his voice steady but heavy with sorrow. Kiyohime, make it quick. The stray devil's lips curled into a faint smile, her tears glistening like stars. Thank you, for giving me peace. Kiyohime nodded solemnly. I will make it painless. With a swift motion, her naginata plunged into the stray's chest, its blue flames consuming her body in an instant. There was no scream, no struggle, just a brief moment of light before the stray devil's form disintegrated into ash, leaving nothing behind but silence. _ Side mission completed, assist a stray devil in finding peace. Reward, 200 copyright credited to your account. Kiyohime stepped closer, placing a hand on his shoulder. You did the right thing, Dana-sama. You gave her the freedom she longed for, even if it wasn't the one she imagined. He nodded, though his heart still felt heavy. I swear, Kiyohime. I'll never let anything like that happen to you. To anyone I care about. I'll protect all of you, no matter what it takes. Kia-him's eyes softened, and she wrapped her arms around him. I know, Dana-sama. That's why I believe in you. Together, they walked out of the abandoned building, leaving behind the ashes of a life that had been stolen, and a renewed resolve to fight for a better world. To be continued. Chapter 18, Chapter 18. Satria's Quiet Resolve. Satria Mansion. Kyoto, Japan. Satria was sitting in his room, scrolling through the dimensional chat shop with a furrowed brow. He was on the hunt for an item or skill that could counter the evil pieces, a demonic chess system binding devils to their masters. Crystal of Purification, 8,000 coins. Description: a mysterious crystal capable of removing all negative influences from the user's body. Can only be obtained once in the Nerubian Maze. Heavenly Grace, 17,000 coins. Description: strong dispel magic that removes all negative statuses from a target while granting them all seeking one's divine blessing. Demonic Cleanse, 20,000 coins. Description: cleanses all enchantments, impurities, and curses from a target's body, healing them with the power of the Shadow Demon. Angel Breath, 6,000 coins. Description: a one-time use artifact that cures any wound or illness, restoring the target to perfect health. Rule Breaker, 12,000 coins. Description: a dagger that nullifies all forms of magecraft, breaking enchantments and curses. Satria stared at the options. These could work, he muttered, tapping his finger on the screen. But the prices. Satria's eyes lingered on the familiar skill Demonic Cleanse, and a nostalgic smile tugged at his lips. This skill, it's from Shadow Demon, isn't it? He muttered to himself, recalling the legendary support hero from Dota 2. Shadow Demon's abilities were all about disrupting enemies, purging harmful effects, and providing unique utility. Demonic Cleanse wasn't just a powerful tool, it was a literal game-changer when used correctly. Fatalis, Shadow Demon? Sounds ominous. What's that? It's a hero from an old strategy game I used to play, Satria replied. This skill was one of his signature moves, able to cleanse debuffs and heal targets. In the game, it's mostly used to counter enemy buffs or save allies. But here... He paused, his gaze sharpening. Fatalis, here, it can break through the evil pieces. Exactly. Shadow Demon was underrated, but if used by the right player, he could disrupt the entire battlefield. This skill, if I can master it, I could not only heal others but also neutralize any enchantments or curses tied to them. Fatalis, it's useful, but are you sure? Spending 20,000 coins on a single skill is no joke. Satria sighed, conflicted. I know. But it's more than just the cost. If I use this skill, I'm putting myself in the crosshairs of the devils. They'll see me as a threat to their entire system and I'm not ready yet to face them all. Fatalis, always playing it safe, huh? Anything else catch your eye? Satria smirked, leaning back in his chair. Of course. But let's be real, this is like the early game. You don't go around joking or flexing, saying easy like some idiot, only to get wiped out later. He paused, a confident yet measured glint in his eyes. Those are the kinds of players who end up feeding and ruining everything. The black dragon laughed, her voice ringing like an amused melody. Fatalis, spoken like a true tactician. But don't you think playing it too safe will make things boring? Boring or not, it's about survival, Satria countered, his voice firm but calm. Rushing in without understanding the field just sets you up for disaster. You take time, build up resources, and when the enemy least expects it, bam, you strike with overwhelming force. Fatalis, and here I thought you'd just brute force your way to the top. Guess I underestimated your strategist side. Satria chuckled, leaning back confidently. I'm called a top 5 offlaner in the world for a reason. Fatalis, oh? Big words, partner. Care to enlighten me? What makes this so-called offlaner rank so high? It's all about holding the line and keeping the team afloat when everyone else is struggling, Satria explained, his tone brimming with pride. An offlaner is the anchor, someone who holds their ground in the hardest lane, disrupts the enemy's strategy, and still comes out strong. It's not flashy, but it wins games. Fatalis, so, basically, you're the stubborn one who refuses to back down, even when things look grim. Exactly, Satria said with a grin. But it's more than that. You have to outthink your opponents, use every resource efficiently, and know when to engage and when to retreat. It's a mental game as much as it is a physical one. Her laughter filled his mind. Fatalis, you make it sound so noble. I bet you just like stomping your enemies into the dirt. Well, he admitted, smirking. That part was fun too. But there's nothing like seeing the enemies carry rage because you made their early game a nightmare. The black dragon shook her head, clearly entertained. Fatalis, so, you're a mix of brains and brawn. I'll give you credit for that, partner. But let's see if your skills can keep up in this new world. They're not just skills, they're instincts, Satria said confidently. And trust me, Fatalis, I don't plan on being just a top 5 offlaner in this world. I'm aiming for the number 1 spot. Satria navigated to another section of the shop, searching for power UPS instead of items. Shadow Demon True Power, 65,000 coins.